Do you need drugs or do you need alcohol? Are you good?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's fucking do it, dude.
It's a show by Chris and Neil with all great movies. They are the real deal. We watch them all, so you don't have to. It's movies that don't suck and some that do.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, welcome to another episode of Movies That Don't Suck and Some Do. My name is Neil.
And I'm Chris.
And this time, guys, it is the 2023 review. Yes, that means when we look over all the movies that we saw this past year, all 103 movies that we've reviewed. Oh, my God. This past year, we got back in the theater, guys. The people returned to the theater. They made sure everyone knew that we love nuclear weapons and video games. John Wick kicked ass again, topping the box office and topping our hearts. Tom Cruise rented a cruise ship to try and cruise his movie into the summer way, and is still mission impossible to try to make the money back they lost. Defoe made a child monster into a sex monster, and then he stuck around an apartment and shat it all up. Nick Cage gave us 6 movies in 2023, but nobody can name more than 3. Jack Warlow showed us that white men can't jump or act. Disney went out in full force, giving us remakes, ride movies, and 115 Star Wars and Marvel movies, items, and shows, which started the craze, comic book and Star Wars fatigue. And Disney told us that fuck is also proper to say. Don't forget, Indiana Jones finally dialed up the retirement home. Owen Wilson taught us how to make happy trees and blushing bushes. Vin Diesel reminded us that the word family exists by saying it 37 times in a film. This year started with a dancing, homicidal doll and ended with a positive message on how to take down the patriarchy doll. Yes, 2023 was interesting, and now us 3 nerdy middle-aged men are going to give our view on the landscape of 2023 with the best of the best of the best. So first, here's my brother from another mother, Chris.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
And then joining us from the state where you don't even want to say your crazy cousin is from, Mark Radulich.
I once again brought dinner, which seems to be our yearly tradition.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, we're at your time because you're in Florida. This is like what, like 9 o'clock?
It
is 7:30, Big Ben.
I know. I was just making fun of the fact that Chris doesn't think I know what Eastern time.
Well, just making sure, dude.
Yes, you guys keep. And look, I asked to be on here. I'm not going to be like Alexis is on my show and be like, I am besieged on all sides. You dragged me here against my will. No, I begged to come on.
I'm glad you're here. Really
and
this is my fun. It's like literally, I already have a party set up to go to after this because like this is like one of my favorite episodes.
So it's like, hey guys, can I get on the show? Can I be part of your yearly review? They're like, yeah, absolutely. Okay, what time? 7:30 your time. Look, man, like we're busy people. We have dinner. Yet again, I'm going to eat on your show like a good podcaster.
That's fair.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And so now we got the top 10 of 2023. Now we're going to go through the top 10. We're going to go through the worst 5 of 2023 at some point. We're going to go through our honorable mentions because, to be honest, I think I could have done a top 20.
I could have
because there was I had to keep knocking movies off my list. Like there's one movie I literally remembered last night.
Chris and I have been going back and forth.
Redo everything.
So Chris and I send each other nudes, but also we've been sharing each other's. We've been whipping out and sharing each other's lists and comparing them. And even since the last time him and I were looking at each other's lists, our vascular lists.
Yeah.
I've had to change mine.
Same here.
The movie, like I can't not put this in my top 10 now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I changed mine considerably. So
I changed mine literally till last night at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like I was going through it. I was just like, oh shit, this movie exists. Oh shit. Well, I guess I got to get rid of another one. Like, I tried not to get rid of one, and I was like, oh, no, this movie needs to be there.
Also, the worst list changed, too, because I had that put up, and I was like, God, there's so many bad movies I've seen this year, too. So,
yeah. A lot of disappointing movies. Like, I wouldn't even say, like, they were bad. Like, for example, Dead Reckoning is fine. We gave it a good review. It didn't make as much money as I'd hoped it would. Like, I go back and I go through all my old TikToks and everything. You can hear me on one of the shows, I think the week before Dead Reckoning came out, and I'm just like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise is coming for you. And I'm like doing Fat Albert, like, no, Tom Cruise, you know. And then it comes out and it's like a wet fart in church. It's like, oh, this is, and then it's not even as good as I wanted it to be.
Yeah, it was
like, it's not bad. It's not on any of my lists, but yeah, I was really disappointed by Dead Reckoning.
I was upset that it didn't make more money. I thought it was going to do it, but people to give a fuck. I think part of it is having a part one in the name. Automatically, just like, I'm waiting for part two so I can watch it all. You know, like kind of like we saw Dune. You didn't know Dune was part one until you walked in and it says Dune part one at the beginning. You're like, oh, there's like two more.
Not for nothing.
No. I got the reason why is because they kept delaying it, and let's be honest, we saw the same fucking trailer for part one for like a year and a half of him riding that scooter bike right off that mountain, and it's like, so you already gave away the best freaking. Yeah,
it was like Morbius and Black Widow. Remember how many times they delayed those, and how many times we saw? The amount of times I saw the trailers was greater than the actual movie.
Yes, by any means. I agree with that. Well, guys, I'm thinking we should jump into this. So roundabout, do you guys want to rock, paper, scissors? Like who wants to go first?
I'll go first with my number.
You'll go first. All right. So Chris, starting our top 10 list. Yes, top 10 list.
Oh, my number 10 is The Killer.
The what?
The Killer.
The Killer. The Netflix movie.
Dude. I'm gonna have to go back and change my list again. I'm just kidding.
So, what I like about The Killer. So it's not God tier Fincher, but it's pretty good. When it comes to being Fincher, at least.
I just realized I got the German version of the poster.
That's okay. It still says I guess it says The Killer.
Dirt Killer.
Dirt Killer. So, so the thing about what I love about this is, you have David Fincher and you have Michael Fassbender, two like amazing artists, and they come together and they make just a fucking solid movie, right? Like, they're just so professional. It felt so clean that way. Fincher's been doing something different each movie, but this one sort of just seems it's tight, and it's just, to me, it felt right to me, and I can't really explain why. I tried to put into words why I thought this was number 10, but it felt right number 10 for me because I was excited for it and I wasn't let down when I saw it.
I have not seen The Killer. I'm going to see it a little later this year.
Yeah.
My friend Sean Comer and
I
did a triple feature of David Lynch movies. We did Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
We did Dark Highway, Lost Highway, whichever the name of the movie is called. Lost Highway. And then we did Blue Velvet.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can hear your fucking radio, you stupid shit. And we talked about how like later on, like this year, we need to do The Killer. Mm-hmm. We did a whole thing on David Lynch and how, like, what an auteur filmmaker he is. So I'm excited for it. I've heard nothing but good things about The Killer. It's just one of those where I think I had it on my list of things to review, and then shit happens.
Yeah.
Actually, if I remember correctly, we were supposed to do The Killer with Pain Hustlers, and I didn't get the chance to see either of them, and we ended up doing Godzilla -1.
Oh, well, I mean, Godzilla -1's a great one, too.
And we'll talk about that later.
I'm sure we'll talk about that later. All right, good. Let's move it along. Mark, what you got?
The number 10 movie on my list of great movies this year is Evil Dead Rise. And
oh my God, I love you. I
love you, Neil.
This is the movie I had to knock off of one of my lists.
It came close.
Yeah, it got knocked off of my list because of the fact that literally I found out another movie existed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
my list is a combination of the movies I enjoyed the most, along with which was made the best.
Oh yeah.
And And so it's 50-50. And Evil Dead Rise is one of the best made films this year. I said it on our review, the sound design should win an Oscar. It is.
Yes. Not just the sound design, but so much more.
The casting of the bad guy, the zombie mom, was spot on. I've never seen, like, just based on physical presence and look, a more perfect casting choice. When she devolves into whatever they call the creatures in those movies, she looks she looks so scary and so perfect. She has this walk about her where you like, is it weird that I want to bang the zombie mom? Like it's so good. She
almost turned into like zombie Mila Djokovic.
Yeah, kind of. It's like when she walks down the hallway and she's like killing the neighbors.
Yeah,
I was like, now imagine that on a runway though in Paris. She's perfect. The kids were all good. They were all solid performances. It's a slight story, but I think it had really good scares, a lot of graphic imagery.
Oh, yeah.
It was unsettling. Like, I went with the bog witch that used to live in my house, and there was a couple of times I was fucking jumped in her lap. Like, protect me, bog witch. And she was like, I'll cast a spell.
No. Oh, like, the gore in it was great. And the thing is, it shows, even though, like, Evil Dead, the other remake came out, like, a couple years ago, it shows that you don't need it to be kids in a cabin in a wood getting scared or Bruce Campbell involved. As long as you can do it and you can do it correctly, even though Bruce Campbell was the voice on the record, I know that's one of
it. Absolutely, it was in the spirit of the Evil Dead IP, and like I said, the actual technical movie crafts is some of the best this year, and that's why it made my top 10.
So I saw it at Panic Fest last year with a full theater because they're showing a week early because Panic Fest or whatever. And I gotta tell you, that cheesier scene, I could hear the whole theater just do the
It's been a while since I've almost vomited while watching a movie. But when she's chewing the glass, I'm like, the bog witch is like, please don't vomit on me. I'm like, I'm not making any promises. So gross, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's an effective fucking movie, and everyone, my wife was squirming the whole time while watching it. So,
dude, to this day, when I think about it, I still have that, like, you know.
All right. Dude, that was one of, like, seriously, again, that was a movie that it was on my top 10 at one point. It was in my honorable mentions, but then, like, it got moved around a lot. And that is actually the movie I cut at 4 a.m. this morning to make it, the other room for the movies I put on.
I have a funny feeling, like, my honorable mentions and your, like, bottom 5 are going to be, like, interchangeable to where it's personal preference.
It might be, dude. I'm not gonna lie. No. Because you said a lot of your bottom 5, the worst, were Disney movies. And
no. I'm talking about, like, my bottom in the top 10.
Yeah.
But my worst movies. That fucking. So we did our year in review on Monday.
Yeah.
And I go through and I make a spreadsheet of the budget times 2. Take that number and subtract it from the worldwide total.
Oh, wow.
Using that mathematics, Disney lost $500 million in the year of our Lord 2023.
Yeah.
Like, that is a company in fucking free fall, and a lot of their movies are on my worst 5.
By any means. All right, so moving on.
Your number 10.
Here's my top 10. Number 10. Now, I judge movies on rewatchability as much as I charge them on how good of a film they are. So my top 10 is probably going to look a lot different than your guys' top 10. I just want you guys to know that. And I had to put this one at top 10 because I thought it was the movie that I would rewatch. In fact, I've already rewatched it at least 10, 15 times. And that is the one, the only, John Wick 4.
Too low.
Yeah.
How is that high?
No. When I explain things later, you'll understand why this is as low as it is. But The entire movie is one spectacular sequence after another. Never stops until the final minutes. One nonstop sequence that one stood out was John and the Marquise meeting Paris area. The up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs. One of the best action scenes and stuff. There's a whole scene that kind of reminded me of The Warriors from 1979. That I really love. Like, I really thought the dude was going to be like, Warriors come out to play. Even though I really wanted this to be higher, I'll tell you why when the other ones pop up, and you'll know why.
So do you want to know where it is?
John Wick
where it is on my list? Because it's on mine. So I don't remember how we did this last year.
Not yet.
Okay, let me say this, and maybe this gives away where it is on my list. But I'm going to tell you, it is the best made, both in craft and enjoyment, pure action movie of the year of our Lord 2023. There's not a single movie. There's another action movie on my list, but this was even better than that one. When you think of all the craft elements plus pure enjoyment, it doesn't get any better than John Wick 4.
I will tell you that that overhead long shot, it was one of the best scenes I've ever seen in cinema. To this day. That overhead long shot near the end.
John Wick 4 it is literally, I think, the only action movie I have on my top 10.
Really? Because I love you, Neil. I will.
There's one other movie, but it's more drama than action. I'm gonna say that.
I will gay poly marry you, Neil. But let me tell you.
I literally thought about this list this year. I literally put it
when we did ours. I did this on Monday on our show. And I was like, and the Alexis Hana of Movies That Don't Suckers on that dude, Neil. He's going to have all fucking Disney and fucking Marvel movies on his. Because I remember, Chris is the gay Cowboys eating pudding guy.
Yeah.
Even his and I list are going to be more comparable. And then there's just the Jingling Keys Pretty Colors list that Neil's going to put together. So when you're like, oh, I only have one action movie on here, I'm like, really? Where's the real Neil?
So
the real Neil.
I had a rule.
We'll talk about it later.
I had a rule that I didn't want to put any sequels on my top 10 list. But I do.
I do. Your number 9?
Huh?
What's your number 9?
Oh, number 9. My number 9 is Wonka.
What?
Yeah.
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 Like the Wonka?
Yeah, the Wonka with.
Wonka?
Yeah, it's the most wholesome movie I've seen all year. Timothy.
You hate musicals.
Timothy won me over.
You tell me not to book musicals.
Hold on, dude. Timothy won me over almost immediately. I actually walked out of this movie smiling and skipping. That's how happy this movie feel. I love the whole alternative European city, and I even picked up chocolate on the way home, dude. I fucking love Wonka because it made me feel so good inside. Paul King.
Okay, so Ken, Wonka's higher on my list than that. It's absolutely on my list. My comments about Wonka when we reviewed it were, it was nice to see a return to old Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's clearly got a distinctive set design. Mm-hmm. The musical numbers were all great.
Oh yeah.
Not memorable, not distinctive, but taken as a whole, you're right. It was light. It was airy. It was beautiful, and it reminded me of what Hollywood, the golden age of Hollywood musicals.
It was so gorgeous, just the colors, just everything about it. It made me feel good walking out of it. Which I gotta tell you, most movies I watch, I want to feel bad coming out, but this one I just didn't have but smile. I was just feeling so good about Wonka.
No. Bottom line, this is the thing about Wonka. This is why I think it was so good. Wonka, like the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Gene Wilder, of course, fucking golden star in the damn movie. But how many of the other characters do you remember so distinctly? Like, you remember Granwood Joe, you remember Veruca Salt, you remember the Oompa Loompas, you remember everything because each character did such a good part in that movie that even though Willy Wonka's there, he's not the main character and stuff. It's all spread out amongst every person has their time, just like this movie Wonka, where Olivia Colman as the laundry lady, as you have Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa, as you have Noodle, as you have the Chocolate 3, whatever and each one of them is so distinctive that it makes a whole movie better because you're not just concentrating on one character like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory of Tim Burton.
Oh, that Tim Burton Johnny Depp one was a piece of shit.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and the reason being is because they were concentrating so much on Willy Wonka. Right. They weren't concentrating on all the side characters. All the side characters got thrown to the side. And the thing is, with Wonka, it always has to be a full cast. It has to be a Knives Out, a Glass Onion, a Murder on the Orient Express. It has to be like everybody has to come together, or it doesn't work at all.
I agree. Yeah. And I like I said, Wonka's a lot higher on my list than it is on Chris's, presumably maybe even yours. But I will tell you, like I said, I went into December like every movie's gonna suck. I hate what I do. I don't want to do podcasting anymore. Like, that was my attitude about December. Like Wonka, Aquaman. Like, oh my god, just give me the Iron Claw because I'm a huge wrestling fan, and let's get the fuck out of this year already. And I saw Wonka, and I was like, tears in my eyes. My kids all enjoyed it. I took them. Like it was, so, and I we went on. I did the review with Robert and Alexis. And I was like gushing about this movie. I was like, I can't. It surprised the shit out of me because I was not looking forward to it.
I was with you, man. Walked in dreading it, and it completely turned me around. Like 10 minutes in, seeing Timothy Chalamet, who so dreamy, but he was so good.
He so is.
He so is. Like me and Timothy. The other night. We sat around, we hung out. Anyway, but that's great. Mark, number 9 for you.
Extraction 2.
Interesting.
The other really great action movie of this year. Look, it's a slice story.
I did not think that one. Oh my god, I have 115 posters downloaded from this. I did not think someone was going to throw an Extraction 2.
Here's what I say about our show, Damn You Hollywood, on W2M Network. It's movie deconstruction on at every facet of making a movie, from the craft to the marketing to the financial. And when I think about Extraction 2 and why it made my list, there was not, besides John Wick, there was not another action movie I saw this year that was as competently made as Extraction 2. His invasion of the prison and then escape, the one shot of him fighting through all the guards. Robert, when we talked about this on Monday, Robert actually was like, at one point, he blocks a Molotov cocktail. His arm catches fire, and he starts punching people with his fiery fist.
Yes!
I mean, not to go
Chris
off on
Hemsworth needs more like gall for the stuff that he's done. Not just Extraction 2, but everything. Like he's even the dumb secretary in the bad Ghostbusters movie. The only reason that movie was any good was because of him. He needs to get more respect in what he does.
Look, not to go off on a rant or a tangent, and I'm going to say this really quickly. We're dealing with a movie marketplace that is desperately trying to cater to women without really understanding how women work. And when you make a movie that is so unapologetically geared towards men and what men want, I'm going to call it out and I'm going to give it high praise, assuming it's competently made. It's not getting it's not grading on a curve. I'm like, wow, you saw the men. You appreciated the men. You gave the men what they wanted, and what you gave the men that they wanted was one of the best made movies of this year. Chris Hemsworth is excellent in this. All the performances are excellent. I could have done with a little bit more. I think it's Idris Elba, and I think that was one of my complaints about, like, why'd you put him in this if you were going to use him that much? But then I got yelled at by everyone on my podcast. I was like, Extraction 3, motherfucker, and I'm like, all right, whatever, man.
This got knocked off my own mention, so I'm glad that you mentioned it. So,
I'm glad you mentioned it too, because it was.
Anyone watching this podcast,
one of the movies I got knocked off.
If anyone's watching this podcast, like, what movie should I watch this year that I haven't yet? If you haven't seen Extraction 2, you missed out. It's amazing.
Oh, dude, get a couple beers, go get your buddies, watch a good action movie. It's a good action
watch
movie.
Chris Hemsworth fuck a motherfucker up a lot.
Fuck a motherfucker up, fucking hardcore style. So my number 9 kind of goes more into the drama universe. In fact, this is probably one of the most nominated films of the year. This is the one, the only, the one that is from the area I live in. It is Killer of the Flower Moon.
See,
now,
Neil, real quick. I thought this is one of you showed your list. She's been talking shit about it. Oh, since it came out, you've just been talking so much about Killers of the Flower Moon.
All right, well, let me talk shit about it, and then let me tell you why it's at number 9 and not higher up the list, like how everybody else was.
Hey, before you do, it's my number 8, so I'm going to say what I need to say now. After
cool.
It's my number 5.
All right. Cool. Why it's number 9 is because I always grade on rewatchability. I can't watch this again. Like, if I did, it's a whole fucking afternoon.
Yeah, I was going to say, no one's rewatching Killers of the Flower Moon. Are you nuts?
No. But being from where I'm at, I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I live literally right next to the Osage Casino is a thing that I work at constantly for, the Osage is a very big thing about this area. So what they actually said in the movie was very respectively close to very much the truth of what happened, which doesn't happen in today's movies. We'll talk about that later. But there's very honest biography. But also, Martin Scorsese, obviously, he did a couple things that he's known for. First, he did a complicated relationship with American and its history. He sets the stage for the film by clearly telegraphing the inherent exploitation of the United States government's treatment of, Native Americans. But then the second thing he does is he also preoccupation is, I can't read my words, immense empathy for people in his films. So people that are minor characters, like Ernest was a minor character in the book, and he made it like more of a, this is the character you should care about, even though in the book he's just that guy you read about every 3 chapters. So I thought this was a really good movie. I think by any means, Robert De Niro, Leo, all of them. And to be honest, after seeing the Golden Globes this past week and Lily Gladstone winning, this was a movie. This was not on my top 10 list originally. This was not. But then going back and hearing what she said about it, and then me, I kind of went back and reviewed it and watched a little bit of the clips and stuff like that. I was like,
so
damn.
You take 2 amazing actors acting incredibly, behaving badly, and you have an eminently
$300 million budget. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, but you have like all these amazing actors: De Niro, DiCaprio, Lily, Tantu, Plemons, Brendan Fraser shows up in it. It's really long. It is really long. I didn't have to pee though. I held it, but I love Scorsese knows how to do murder so well, and we get tons of it. And also, I wanted to do 2 points because Jason Isbell's in it, and it's really having to fix his teeth. So I just want to talk about that.
The performances are probably the second or third best of any film I saw this year.
I'm with you.
Lily Gladstone deserves an Oscar for her performance. She's amazing in this.
Dude. Yeah, I'm with you.
Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm a huge fan of because he is consistently putting out. When you think about like what does acting look like, it looks like what Leonardo DiCaprio does.
That guy did not get an Oscar for his second movie ever. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Fuck the Academy.
Dude, the basketball guy. Listen, I need you to give me some money. So good.
But Basketball Diaries.
Everybody in my house knows I'm yelling out the Basketball Diaries right now because they've all heard me scream "Ma" before. Robert De Niro is amazing in this, and considering we've seen the shitty Robert De Niro, and then we were reminded what a great actor he is. Under the right tutelage. It's not higher on my list than number 8 because it has 0 rewatchability, and I'm a film snob.
Yeah,
my enjoyment of this was cinema.
Yeah,
cinema.
Yeah.
Cinema. And that's about the only enjoyment I got out of it.
Okay.
Like, this is not a feel-good movie. This was not a rip-roaring roller coaster of a ride. This was, come here. This was.
Oh my God! Now he's snagging people to step in and say things with
on
him.
3.
What's going on?
On
1,
3.
2,
Cinema. 1, 2, 3. Cinema.
Hell yeah!
No. And that is about all I have to say about Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay.
It is exquisite cinema. It is not enjoyable.
Chris, what's your number 8?
The Holdovers.
The Holdover.
Yeah, this movie.
Number 8.
Yeah, this came out like October, November. It's got Paul Giamatti. It's directed and produced by Alexander Payne. Alexander Payne did Election. He did Descendants, and he did Citizen Ruth. And he did Sideways. And this is, to me, this is Alexander Payne at his best when he puts heart into a movie. I think Neil, you saw you liked it too, right? I think I gushed about it.
It was a good movie.
Okay,
I'll
fine.
talk about it later.
Okay, but I love the whole feel of this thing. It's a Christmas movie, which we don't get a whole lot of anymore, I guess, or a good one at least. I cried like a bitch twice in this movie, just I was sobbing in my seat next to my buddy who was a stone face. Looked over, I'm like covering my eyes a bit.
He cries when I tell him about dead kittens.
Yeah. But Dominic Sessa, the guy who played the main character, and this is amazing. Giamatti's amazing, and just having that whole feel of a '70s film with even the grain and the cigarette burn in the top right. It just made me feel good inside, and I cried and I felt good. And I haven't been able to talk to too many people about the movie because no one saw it. So hopefully, even next, will you stop smoking weed on camera?
I haven't.
I'm not
seen it yet.
smoking
It's
weed.
on my
I'm smoking
list.
tobacco. Actually, you dumbass.
It's on my list of things to watch. It's on Peacock now, so I have no excuse.
Yeah.
I will tell you that my partner, my other hetero life mate, Robert Winfrey of Damn You Hollywood, it's high up on his top 10. Okay. And if it's high up on his top 10, considering most movies these days make him consider suicide.
That's when
high
we
praise.
start with you wanting to commit suicide.
High praise from the man from Utah. So, I that's really like my only contribution to this part of the conversation. It's a movie I need to see.
Yeah, Holdover's
All right,
great.
so number 8 already is Killer of the Flower Moon for you. Any other parts you want to put on there, Mark?
As far as talking about Killers of the Flower Moon, I think one of the things we talked about was the color paletting. Martin Scorsese took a very drab part of the United States and gave it. I enjoyed the color paletting of Killers of the Flower Moon. I think it really brought the earthiness of that area of Oklahoma to life.
Yeah,
I felt like I was there.
It does. It really does. That's the reason I like it so much. And after reevaluating it, is because like literally, my wife and my mother-in-law like literally are part Native American. So like we're literally a part of that culture around here. And believe me, it did. It just like how Watchmen the series put a light on Black Wall Street, which was one of the most horrendous things that ever happened in humanity.
Oh my God, another white person knows about Black Wall Street. Have you told you how much I love you, Neil?
There's literally a bed right here. If you ever want to come to Tulsa, hang out for a weekend, like right here, there's a whole bed you can sleep in. Closet, you can
hang out
the whole weekend.
Don't write checks or ask and cash because I will come, especially nowadays.
No, do it anytime. We got a pool, a bar. Anyway, but anyway,
your wife's gonna be like, "Why is your fat friend still here?" I don't know. He won't.
Believe me, you wouldn't be the first person to do that. But anyway, that's the thing. It's just one of those movies that it's so dead on about how it pays.
Can we talk about anatomy of a scene? Yeah. So Leonardo DiCaprio at the end of the movie. I talked about this on my podcast, but if you ask me, like, is there anything else you want to talk about? Yeah, I want to talk about how great this one scene is. Like, because anything that really drives at the heart of the human existence is something that's going to ring out to me. So picture it, right? It's the end of the movie, and Leonardo DiCaprio has spilled the beans. He's turned on Robert De Niro. He's washed his hands of this whole ugly affair. And then Lily Gladstone sits in front of him, and she's like, and I don't remember the exact dialogue exchange, but something along the lines of, "Hey, did you poison me?" And Leonardo DiCaprio, in the most wonderful scene of this entire movie, in the best performed bit of this entire movie, has a moment where he can he can never be forgiven, but at least he can absolve himself of the crime he committed, and he chooses not to. He lies to her face. And he lies to her face in the way that only a husband who's been caught red-handed lies to their wife.
Yes, 100%. I agree with this. Yes.
Did you bang a hooker? No. And he kind of does that. Like, me? Like, and it's so funny because he kind of does one of these. He's just like, did you poison me? Like, were you giving me insulin or were you like trying to kill me? I was, you know. At which point Lily Gladstone goes, I think our business here is concluded, and gracefully walks without touching the floor out the door. And Leonardo DiCaprio looks at Jesse Plemons and goes, I fucked up, didn't I? And Jesse Plemons is like, yeah, it's just, you're done, pal.
You're done.
It's so good. Like if you can't, if it's too much movie for you and you can't sit through all 9 hours of Killers of the Flower Moon, if like that time dilation doesn't work for you, just watch that one scene. It is brilliant. It is why they gave Martin Scorsese 3 hours and a blank check.
All right. So moving on now from that
to
this. All right. My number eight is none other than the other long ass fucking movie we had to sit in a goddamn theater for, because I do respect it. I do respect it as a piece of art, and I do, but I'm never watching this motherfucker ever again. Due to the fact that I already hate the bastard because he fucked up all the Batman movies.
On, you.
Oh,
Mr.
psycho.
Mr. Oppenheimer himself, Christopher Nolan. This was a great movie. I love it, but it was like 4 hours, and it seemed like 6 at some points.
Chris, get your boy.
Okay, yeah.
Your boy's out of fucking control, man.
Don't worry about it. Let's go.
Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt. I mean, the cast was ridiculous.
Stacked.
The score is one of the most beautiful things in the entire world of a movie, behind the score and everything like that. But the thing with me is just this is too damn long.
Fuck you. Not for wasting this.
And the reason it's not higher is not once did he show the credibility of them killing millions of people.
I'm not going to tell you what this is on my list, but I'm going to talk about this in a second. So on this show,
but can I finish? Can I finish?
Sorry, fucker. Go ahead.
Can I finish? Are you going to let me finish? You going to let me finish now?
Go ahead.
You going to let me finish? Am I going to finish?
Dude, finish already. We're all out of breath. Okay, we're sweating. Please finish. I don't care where you finish.
This is a great movie and all that stuff. I love this movie. This movie by Christopher Nolan is one of his masterpieces. He's got like 2, and but this is one of them. And just the rewatchability. Of course, you can't watch it because it's like 3 hours and 40 minutes, and now he wants to put out an extended version of it.
3 hours.
And I'm like, whatever. But the scenes in this movie and the art of this movie is just so beautifully done. Like, I know it's kind of a little grotesque, but like, even like where he's getting interviewed in the office by those guys, and all of a sudden he's talking about his past relationship with Florence, and she's like literally all of a sudden they're like butt naked fucking like staring right at Emily Blunt. Like, it was just like scenes like that really made this whole movie, because it was just like every time they talked about everything had a Versage, like the way that Robert Downey Jr. acted. As soon as he entered the picture, like, that guy's gonna fuck some people over. Like, you just knew it from the way his attitude was, the way his personality was, and they all knocked it out of the park. The music in this movie, the visuals in this movie, the direction in this movie was fucking ridiculously awesome. For me to even put a Christopher Nolan movie in my top 10 list fucking really tells you how much I appreciate this film.
I am not a man that scares easily. I've died a few times. I'm a big, angry New Yorker. Nothing much scares me. I'll fucking fight a horse. I don't care. I'm frightened about what you put above Oppenheimer. What nonsense did you think was better than Oppenheimer?
A lot.
So
the The reason being is coming over my hatred for Christopher Nolan,
which is so insane to me.
How he butchered, Joker.
Fuck
how he butchered
you.
Batman. How he butchered my entire.
I don't even know what he's saying anymore, Chris.
Franchise. Like,
At this point, I feel like Neil had a stroke, and all I'm hearing is.
Look at this. This is the Long Halloween, right? Signed by Tim Sale to Neil. Right here on my desk. I literally love Batman and Joker, and he fucked them so hard.
You apparently hate movies, though. It's weird that you do a podcast about it.
So no, I just hate people that fuck them.
Okay, so Neil, real quick.
Like literally, I got Detective Comics 1 through number like the last 6 months right here.
But it's so odd you don't watch movies and like them.
So Neil, here's the deal. I've talked to many Batman fans that love The Dark Knight, which to me, and you can disagree, it's my favorite Batman movie. Easy.
And I'm sure each one of them was under the age of 25.
No, they're all over the age of 40. Anyway,
I've said it before. I will say it again. The Batman is the best Batman movie. The best movie starring Batman is The Dark Knight.
No, that's good one. That's good. So
I will agree with that, but I hate how he fucking butchered my characters. That's the thing. That's what I love it. I'm not going to say it's not a good movie.
It's not great.
And we're not going to do long. Chris.
Okay. So real quick,
I'm not saying that. Just let me finish my sentence. Can I finish?
I'm using my
finish all over us.
But anyway, it's not the fact that it was not my Batman. It was not my Joker.
Okay.
Period. That's who it was. Anyway.
So imagine making a 3-hour blockbuster movie in IMAX about the making of the atomic bomb. Because that's
can I quote Robert again? Robert's line from Monday pretty much sums up the Barbenheimer thing for me. Barbie was always going to get made. Not maybe the movie we got, but there was always going to be a Barbie movie at some point. Mm-hmm. What special alchemy, magic, fucking situation of probability allowed a major motion picture studio like Universal to put out a 3-hour movie about the making of the atomic bomb?
In IMAX, dude. Like
in IMAX.
So, yeah. It's
again, one of my top voting perspectives of my movie top 10 list is rewatchability.
They cut that movie up on TikTok, and there's a lot of stuff I'll just kind of like flip through. But every time I see a clip from Oppenheimer, I stop and watch.
Yeah, I do too. But still, it's not like I could watch the whole 3 hours and 45 minutes. I can't even watch Infinity War like in that fucking time, and I love Infinity War.
So the thing about Oppenheimer is not a frame wasted to me in that movie. Everything that's there adds to it, and they could also. I didn't read the book, obviously, but going people were worried that was a glorify Oppenheimer, and spin the movie sucking his dick, and they didn't do that, which is what makes it a good movie, really. So Cillian Murphy was great. This is higher on my list, but we'll talk about it then, I guess, a little bit. Yeah. But yeah.
Talking about higher on your list, Chris, we got to move on. We got to get on.
Let me real quick. Oppenheimer is a lot higher on my list. Okay. We'll get to it.
Guys, we'll talk about it then. But we're already getting to like an hour, and we're not even halfway through.
I'm so excited to do more, dude.
All right. So anyway, cool. Chris, what's your number 7?
Infinity Pool.
I don't even have it. I didn't even get a.
Didn't watch it.
Okay, it's probably the most fucked up movie I've seen this year. It's
fucked up as in it fucking sucked. But anyway, whatever.
If this shows up in your top 5 list, I'm just so upset.
In Chris's defense, this was also on Robert's
let me
list.
See your defense. I want your defense.
It was one of the ones that Robert Winfrey liked a lot too. So you're in good company.
Yeah. Let me see your defense of this.
Okay, so one of the things that I love is seeing Brandon Cronenberg direct this, who's the son of the other Cronenberg. So he follows in his dad's footsteps. This movie is fucked up. Nightmare imagery. There's instantaneous jizzing somewhere in this, and there's a.
I once saw instantaneous jizzing open up for Metallica in 1989 at the Nassau Coliseum.
This thing has burned itself in my brain. Images from this, and Mia Goth screaming has burned itself in my brain. This movie is fucked up. It's gory, it's scary, it's an acid trip.
Oh, that's why you like it. That's why you like it, because your girlfriend's in it.
Yeah, Mia Goth, she's great.
His girlfriend Mia Goth.
Listen, you can't knock the hustle, okay? Mia Goth is hot as shit.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no, she's doing great right now. But okay, Go ahead.
It's just, it follows basically, it takes with another foreign country. I don't want to give away too much about it because it reveals itself, but it's a horror film. It's also it's super fucked up. I was so happy when I walked
Just
out.
because a bunch of people have sex in it doesn't make it a horror film.
I get it. Ha ha ha. But what did this not even enter your idea brain when?
No, it was actually going to be my top 5 bad, and I knocked it out. For
Good,
a minute.
because I would have lost my goddamn mind on you. But
I know.
Weird to watch Chris.
You haven't heard what's in my top 5 worst yet.
It's like
We're almost
Chris
there
would like
too,
leave
buddy.
his box and go somehow get into Neil's box. Like, where the fuck did you come from?
No, the movie was all right. It was okay. But the thing is, it wasn't enough to put in a top 10 list. It wasn't good enough even put in the top 5 worst. It was a good, very mediocre film at that. It was artsy as fuck. They tried it, but like so many points of the movie did not go together. I had the same problem with it when we reviewed it back when it came out. I even rewatched parts of it to see where I was at. Dude, I rewatched parts of almost every movie that we reviewed like in the last couple of weeks to try to make sure I was at where I thought I was at with that movie. And it was one of those movies that, it's trying to be creepy, like Eyes Wide Shut. It's trying to be weird.
Hold on, no, it's not trying to be. It is being. It's succeeding in being its own thing, though. But you know what?
I mean, I guess.
Okay, fine.
I guess if I get a videotape of 2 guys doing a girl, I get a videotape of 2 girls doing a guy. It's not the same thing at all. It's not the same thing at all. You're right. Those are 2 completely
Mark,
different
when you
stories.
watch it, we'll talk about it and we'll gush about it. But what's your number 7?
Rawr. Godzilla -1.
Nice.
What?
Godzilla -1's a solid movie.
It's number 7.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's my number 7. It's a solid story. It's well acted. It's probably the best representation of the Godzilla monster on film in quite some time, and that includes the Monsterverse. Every Godzilla fan I've talked to has sung its praises. The destruction sequences are well read, very readable. Godzilla as a destructive force of nature and not, defender of the universe was a nice return to form. I had nothing but when we reviewed it, it's one of those ones where I took my kids to go see it after school one day just on a whim because, both of them, they're into the anime and they like the Godzilla and everything. And I was like, oh, I've heard nothing but good things about this. We have time. Let me take them to go see it. And like the 3 of us were like, holy shit, how did we accidentally watch one of the best movies of this year? And it's a Godzilla film from Japan. So, yeah, I mean,
I literally have a friend that he's a hardcore Godzilla fan. Mm-hmm. Every movie has toys from Japan, like literally has a whole room of Godzilla back in Kansas City. Good buddy. Shout his name, Matt Nova. Yeah, Matt Nova. Yeah, and I even took him to the press release viewing of was it Godzilla King of Monsters?
Yeah, that was you. You went there with the Matt.
Yeah, with Matt. We grabbed Matt. So this dude was like, he went and saw it first, and then he came back to me and was like, dude, if you don't watch this movie for your fucking movie podcast, I will fucking disown you. And
I mean, it's not wrong. The first time Godzilla uses his atomic breath, and it's, and you hear the clicking of his scales, and then they all pop up like a giant toaster, and he shoots it out, and it like rivaled Nolan's Oppenheimer nuclear explosion. It was so loud. Like, if you're gonna blow up anything like the size between a city and a planet, that's what you want it to sound like. So again, it met all my craft criteria. It met all my drama criteria. It's not higher on my list because there were things I just enjoyed more.
Yeah.
But my kids love the shit out of it.
No. I'm with you on the zoo is incredible. When it comes to, like you said, craft, but there are 2 ways to look at Godzilla, and it took the Japanese way, which is personally my favorite way when it comes to, like a destroyer, and if you want to look deep into it, I'm sure there's some, the atomic bomb sort of obviously brings the city destruction sort of kind of home. So I liked it quite a bit. And it's the best Godzilla movie since the 80s, probably.
Yeah, for sure. It's better than
no. It's the best Godzilla movie ever.
I've enjoyed the MonsterVerse. Don't get me wrong.
There's not a Godzilla movie that is good as
I enjoyed Godzilla vs. Kong. I enjoyed Godzilla.
Yeah, I enjoy all of them. I even enjoyed the Rubber Monster.
They're not great movies.
Power Ranger looking ones back in the the 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
but goddamn, like Godzilla -1.
I've enjoyed the MonsterVerse movies. They're not well made.
Yeah.
Like I was cheering God. I think the first year I was on this, I said Godzilla vs. Kong was like my number one movie or some dumb shit because I was like I just loved it. But, and I want to say this to your fans because if you listen to Damn You Hollywood, we say it all the time, but I'm gonna repeat it here. Just because you love something doesn't make it good, and just because something is good doesn't mean you have to love it.
Yep,
exactly.
And I liked Godzilla -1. It's an extremely well-made movie, but there were things I liked more.
All right. So moving on to my number 7. Are we number 7? Yeah, we're number 7. My number 7. Sorry, I've been drinking way more than you guys. Anyway, my number 7 is the one, the only. You should probably already know that I was going to pick this movie on my top 10 list due to the fact that the poster is literally right there.
Oh, interesting. Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. Is this?
Oh, I know.
Come on,
sure
dude.
You guys are going to bitch about
no, I know. This is some honorable mentions.
Animated.
Will your wife let you go on a date with another woman? Because I have this girl, Alexis Hana, who you'd really get along with.
But Across the Spider-Verse is beautifully animated. It's bursting with the wild kind of intervention that has been across even the first movie. It takes everything for the first movie and it does it bigger, better. Every single scene is something to gawk at. The movie isn't just content to simply follow the art style, but the actual story unfolds right in front of you. It's bringing not only fresh and new to the genre that feels rather stale at this moment, which is the comic book movie genre, which kind of feels really fucking stale right now. This is a movie that made it feel outside the norm on that. And I love it. The plot might be a little difficult for like younger kids to follow, but as older Spider-Man people, we're going to fucking love the shit out of it. And just enjoy the action, the humor, the story is great. And it's kind of like The Empire Strikes Back. You can tell that they ended it on a downer because the solution's coming next. And that's why it's my Empire Strikes Back in the Spider-Man trilogy that we never got in any other Spider-Man trilogy.
I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I'm not gonna tell you're a bad person because you put this in your top 10. It's a fine movie. It's a well-made movie. In terms of animated, it's one of the best movies of last year. I just don't care. And it did not crack my top 10. It didn't even crack my honorable mentions. If you said pick 20 movies, it probably would have made it, been like 19 or 18.
Yeah, it's gorgeous movie to me. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, to me, I've seen it maybe 30 times already this year. Like
I fell asleep through it.
I literally throw this movie on all the time while I'm doing working on stuff. Like literally here in my studio, I have 3 monitors, and literally it'll be on a monitor while I'm doing. I'm
stuff. Matchmaking you and Alexis Hana right now. I'm I have your date in my head.
Happily married, motherfucker. Right now.
Happily married. Okay, God.
No, I am. Literally, I am. It's the most awesomest thing in the world. I already married my best friend, dude. Oh, don't worry.
Oh. So number.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Number 6. Number 6 for Chris.
Asteroid City.
Oh my God! I knew you were gonna.
You guys are gonna vomit. You guys are gonna vomit.
I knew you're gonna throw this piece of shit.
Fucking Chris's obligatory Wes Anderson pick. All right, go ahead.
Oh my God! He jerks off to Wes Anderson spills all the time. I already had it loaded up to fucking promote the poster. I knew exactly that he was gonna.
Please tell us about your favorite autistic director.
Tell us, Chris. Tell us why this movie didn't suck balls because the indie cut short 20 minutes before it should have been the end of a
Tell us
movie.
About the aliens that Wes Anderson just got into that he has to read us a list from.
So, Wes Anderson's style to me that seems. You guys are probably tired of it.
Oh God damn it! I thought it'd be honorable mentions. Me and my wife actually took bets on this today, dude.
I think this is what inevitably broke up my marriage.
So this is to me. This was. I watched it today. In fact, just to make sure I still liked it, because I was afraid. I was afraid of you guys doing that. I was afraid of this.
Make sure
I
you
was
still
terrified.
like the Wes Anderson movie.
I was like, within 6, I'm gonna see people that are just just doing this to me. But Wes Anderson, he has a style to me that he seems to be able to keep fresh and sees for me. And you liked the Fish Dispatcher stuff, doing that thing.
No. By any means. Do I like Wes Anderson? Yes. Do I think he has great movies? Yes. Do I think this is even in the top 5? No. And I 100% told you this when we reviewed this. It felt like it was a cop-out for the last part of this fucking movie because of the way they treated, like, all of a sudden, there's like they had this great story going, and all of a sudden it was like, nope, you don't get the ending of that story. We're just going to do a different story.
Well, I mean, it was this movie within a movie within a movie, kind of. Like, to me. Dude, I really like it.
You're going to drag me to drinking.
Okay, okay. So, to me, do you have just a cooler belt? Okay. All right, anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. So, the movie within the movie aspect is clever. I liked it more over time. I really like the limited storytelling taking place mostly in Astro City, even though it was in 4 different places the whole time. The actress in, obviously, where Anderson is, you can't avoid that, but he had all his best people there. And I like Tom Hanks there. He's probably filming for Bill Murray because he wasn't there. And like I said, I like Jeffrey Wright about just about everything. If Jeffrey Wright's in this movie, it automatically gives me some faith in it. And I really like the Asteroid City just because it's classic Anderson, that aspect of it. Neil's giving me the thumbs up. And let's move on to your number 6, Mark, if you could do it.
Oh,
it's funny. I have to now follow
Mark, Chris, Neil. That's the order.
I have to follow like a film nerd's defense of Wes Anderson, who is a film nerd darling.
Yeah. With
this next film, which kind of makes me seem like a meathead. But hear me out. Gran Turismo. Thank you.
I love it. Go for it, bro. Give me
film is a visual medium, and with the visuals, the aesthetic in Gran Turismo is one of the best I saw this year. The use of cinematography, the different layers captured in a single frame of this movie, so that you got a feel of the video game, but you were still in real life. You were still in the story. There was a dynamism in the filming that I think is absent in a lot of movies, and I think this movie really made use of it. It's a tightly knit story. There was only one little bit where I was like, why are we here and doing this? But the rest of it, like a big criticism of 2023 movies was it needed to be cut down, needed to be edited. And that's everything from like, the 3-hour movies to the 2-hour movies. Like there were 2-hour movies that should have been 90. There were 3-hour movies that should have been 2 hours. Gran Turismo was darn near perfect length. Yeah, the little bit that he does with when he's dating the girl, like in the middle of the movie, where after he's been successful, I was like,
you got to give a little bit of, for the
it just could have been done better. It was my only criticism of the movie. Is my point. Like I was like, this was done shitty, but the rest of it's so good, I don't care. The performances are fantastic. Neil Blomkamp, I know he has his critics, but I think he was the right guy with the right project, and he nailed a grand slam. Perfect. It would be higher, except there were movies I enjoyed more.
So
yeah,
the thing and
also Dave Harper. We got to. Sorry, 1 second, Chris. That's what I said, and you interrupted me. You interrupted me, and it fucking ruined my train of thought. Anyway, Harper, like, literally is one of the best actors out there right now. The guy,
he's so good in this.
Yeah, like there's shitty movies that he's in that I'll watch just because I know he's in it.
Wait, compare David Harbour in Gran Turismo to David Harbour in that bullshit Black Widow movie.
Oh, man. But that's the whole reason I watched the Black Widow movie, is for him as Red Guardian. I beat Captain America once when I was, like, whatever. But anyway, but still, yes, he has his ups and downs, and this is like Stranger Things knock out of the park acting. Like,
yeah, it's excellent.
So seeing this in theaters is what really made me enjoy it. Like, the sound, and you felt the fucking car you're in. So I did like Gran Turismo. It didn't make my list, but I appreciate that it's on yours for sure. It's an exciting movie.
It should be if you are an appreciator of film and film craft, you should watch Gran Turismo.
Yeah, there's stuff in there that you won't see that anywhere else. So
exactly,
Neil did a great job, and Neil Blomkamp did a great job. So
all right, so my number 6. Before we get to the wonderful worst and your guys' fight off here in a second.
Okay.
I can't wait for the fight off. Chris, we're gonna have so much fun editing this episode. Anyway, my number 6. I'm sorry to tell you guys this, but you already said it earlier. It's The Killer. The Killer was my number 6. This was the movie I forgot existed, even though I went through our 103 movies, and I was like, "Oh shit, The fucking Killer!" And then I watched it right then and there at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, really?
And I was like, God damn, I love this movie.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the old Guy Ritchie films, like Snatch,
I guess,
like
yeah.
Train Spotting, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking
I think
Barrels.
it's way cleaner than
like
that.
it
It's way
reminds me
cleaner
of
than that to me.
It's very clean. It's got some good old fashioned like Jason Bourne-esque masculine action film, but it suburbs from some of the expectations by and away. It's meant to be done. Alex Nolet and David Fincher's, like, it just seemed like the two of them were meant to like put it all together.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you like this movie that much. I didn't expect this.
I love this movie. And the thing is, Michael Fassbender has just badass in this movie. And it's like his Taken. It's like his Jason Bourne. It's like his, it's his version of finally coming out and showing how badass. It should have been maybe Assassin's Creed. Maybe it should have been fucking Dark Phoenix. Maybe it should have been something else where he tried to be, hey, look, guys, I'm a fucking badass. And nobody's taking note.
Have you seen Shame?
This was the movie. Huh?
Have you guys seen Shame?
Yeah.
Shame, Shame.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, it's just Michael Fassbender shows off his dick in that movie. I'm like, God damn.
Oh, still see now?
Yeah.
He got a big old dick.
Yes.
He got a big
I'm
old
like,
dick.
looking like, I'm like that.
It's
Okay.
like- It's like.
Yeah. I'm like, Jesus fuck! Look at that thing.
Oh, holdovers and The Killer and Shame then. My next.
Oh my God, she just took a 12-inch salami right down the throat. Have you ever seen that in your whole day? No, Howard, I haven't. But anyway, but yeah, The Killer is literally, and the thing is, it's really rewatchable to me. Okay. It's like a movie, but if I go into a buddy's house right now and they got The Killer on, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna grab a beer. I'm gonna sit down and watch The Killer with you, and see what they think. But yeah, it's one of my most rewatchable movies of the year.
Okay. So now it's time for worst films, right?
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay.
Because we're going to have a little fun before we get to the 5 worst.
Okay.
Neil has to jerk us both off before we continue this.
I agree. So let's do a pause real quick.
Does anybody have to urinate? No.
No.
You don't get a chance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, give me that award music.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
We are going to say I'm going to say a quote from one of the top 10 quotes voted on by IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. I got the ones, I put them all together, the ones that I thought were the top 10. You two guys are going to have to tell me. First, it doesn't matter. Ring in saying your name, Mark, Chris, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just Yell Banana.
Yell Banana. Yeah, Yell Banana. Yell Banana. I like that. Yell Banana. And tell me what movie, and these are all award-nominated movies, that this movie is from.
Okay. I'm ready. I'll say Chris. You'll say Banana.
All right. Number 10. Let's go of whatever was and walk into what is. Let go of whatever was and walk into what is.
I'm having trouble here. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you yelling it at me didn't help.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it was in the movie. Okay, so both of you suck. That was from Creed 3.
How the fuck?
Oh shit! I saw that one.
Yeah, I did too.
You guys did see all these movies. You guys saw.
Okay.
That's why I put them together. I went and I took time, guys. I put in the work.
I don't think yes, a lot of people there would know what that was, but hey, I appreciate the question.
That was actually the #1 most voted favorite quote of 2020.
What the fuck? Okay.
I almost said fucking
I put it at the end though. I put it at the end because I knew you guys wouldn't remember it.
You read the quote. I was like,
sports movie.
You read the quote. It was like Kylo Ren, The Last Jedi. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, these are all from this year. All from 2020.
No, I know. That's why I didn't say that stupid joke.
All right, number 9. They won't fear it until they understand it, and they won't understand it until they've used it. Theory.
Banana.
Go ahead.
That would be Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. One for Mark. Number 8. In an insane world, it is sane who are called crazy. In an insane world, it is the sane who are called crazy.
I'm gonna guess St. Chris. I'm gonna fuck, dude. Say it one more time.
In an insane world, it is the sane who are called crazy.
Fuck, I don't know, man.
All right, cool. That's from Super Mario Brothers.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I made these fun, guys. I can't believe you don't know these.
I got one.
Yeah.
I know. You did great. You did great. Mark's amazing, everybody. Anyway, you can just cut that out of this podcast. Use it. I have a lot of followers. Anyway. Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go.
Oh. God damn it.
You got to say your name.
I know, but I don't know if I know what it is.
Everybody keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go.
Is that also Creed? The Color Purple? Another movie with black people? It wouldn't be Creed again, would it? Big George Foreman?
All right. That is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It was actually the last words in the movie.
I was probably asleep.
Oh, God.
Damn it.
All right. Friendship means little when it's convenient. Friendship means little when it's convenient.
Ooh.
These are all award-nominated movies, guys. Like, literally. Every movie on this list was nominated at the Golden Globes.
No need to pull that up.
Damn it.
Damn it, Neil. Why are you making this hard for me? And Mark. But Mark always got one.
I read quotes to you. I read this quote to you, motherfucker, on the goddamn podcast.
Dude, you sometimes I break.
Yeah, you ignore him. I get it. I see your.
I don't ignore you.
Years ago, we did an entire month dedicated to Alan Moore. And ever since then, when I don't know something, I just start rattling off Alan Moore stuff. So Watchmen, V for Vendetta.
Is this
from hell?
Chris, is this Killers the Fireman?
No, this is from John Wick 4.
Okay.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
All right. So far,
there was dialogue in John Wick 4?
All right. All right, here we go. We mothers stand still, so our daughters.
Evil Dead Rise. No, fuck Barbie.
Yeah. Fuck it, I'm going to give it to him, even though he didn't say his name first. Anyway. Remember, these are phrases that people are like, these are the quotes of 2023. I did not make
I don't know. Like, you started reading that, I heard Mother, and I'm like, oh, Evil Dead. There's a bomb in that one.
All right. Number 3. Just keep telling the story.
There's so many stories to tell, but okay, Chris, is this Killers the Fireman? No. Okay, fuck. All right.
The Color Purple.
You're not going to get it, Mark. Believe me. This one I added just because this would have all been Chris, and he fucked it up. This was Asteroid City.
Oh.
And again, I got this from top 10 lists.
God damn.
What were the best? All right. Number 2. Then we're the same. We can't go to heaven because you're not good and I'm not a person.
Oh, shit. I know that one.
Say your name if you think you got it.
Oh, I know that quote. I just saw that movie. The creator. Banana. Creator.
Creator.
Nice.
100%.
Nice.
All right. You got 2 more left. All right. So
Okay.
the trap isn't a. All right. The trap isn't a trap if you know the trap is trying to trap you. It's a face-off.
I just saw that one too.
The trap isn't a trap if you know it's a trap.
Chris, it's Wonka, right? It's got
What?
Wonka. Is that Wonka?
No, it's not
Okay,
Wonka.
fucking. God damn, I suck.
Banana.
The trap
It's
isn't a trap.
Aquaman.
No.
Aquaman.
But close, sort of. It's Guardians
It's
of
not
the
Aquaman?
Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay. Fuck. All
It's
right.
one.
Last but not
Wait,
least.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What was the last one?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Guardians of the
Oh,
Galaxy
shit.
Volume
Yeah.
3.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Close enough.
Yeah. Evil surrounds my heart. Many times I cry, and this evil around my heart comes out of my eyes. I close my heart and keep what is good there, but hate still comes. And this is number 1 on 3 different lists. This fucking quote is considered the number 1 quote of 2023
And
from a movie that's nominated on award shows. Take it over.
One more time.
Yeah, please.
Evil surrounds my heart. Many times I cry, and this evil around my heart comes out of my eyes. I close my heart and keep what is good there, but hate still comes.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Thank you. He's got 4-0. Chris, I read quotes to you every fucking week, and literally half of these are ones I've read to you.
I got you, man. I got you.
Yeah.
He's like,
Mark
all right,
is
I hear you,
annihilating
Psycho.
her. Like right now. Hey, right, Mark, here. Here you go, man. Here's an $800
Thanks.
copy of the AEW title. Right there. Right
Right.
there.
I'm gonna go to the other guy. I'm gonna take that belt and go to the other guy's show.
All right.
All right.
Top 5 worst.
Well, I'm gonna start. You want to start, or someone else want to start this one?
I'll do the top. I'll start
Okay.
the top 5 worst.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, in no particular order. But this might be the worst made movie of this year. It didn't bring me the least amount of joy. That's something else on this list. But this, of all the movies I reviewed this year, this was quite possibly the worst made. Hilariously badly made. That would be Children of the Corn 2023.
See, I stayed away from it because I heard about how bad it was.
Yeah, we all stayed away from it because I literally, when I was a kid, I grew up in Indiana, and everybody called me the guy from Children of the Corn. So we stayed away from it.
So I have a guy that I do like a lot of B movies with. You know, like we'll either do commentary tracks or we'll do like we did a podcast that was all like stupid shark movies.
Yeah.
And you know we did Santa Claus with the cats that deliver Christmas presents. We just did Cocaine Shark, and none of those are as bad as Children of the Corn 2023. Not even Sharks of the Corn, which we also reviewed. It was so incompetently made. It's funny. Like you talk about like all the legs on the stool that make a good movie. Well, the legs of the stool that make a bad movie: boring, incompetent, like poorly acted. Like, the story makes zero fucking sense. Yeah, Children of the Corn 2023 was one where like you would be fooled into thinking it was a student film, but if it's a student film, it should be better than this.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, I turned my microphone off real quick. But yeah, I agree with that. Like it was one of those movies that it was just like, is this a student film? I did watch it.
I encourage my son and like my bonus kid. Don't ask.
Okay.
I was like, if you guys like movies so much, go make your own. It couldn't possibly be worse than Children of the Corn.
And it was like, how do you take a classic like the original Children of the Corn and just butcher it so much? Like, it's like the Carrie, the fire starter, like there's so many, like, I don't understand how so many people are butchering so many Stephen King movies, dude.
Yeah, it's almost like they're doing it on purpose. Like everyone saw the producers and be like, the lesson here is make bad movies. I'll tell you, the one thing that came out of Children of the Corn was the phrase "Wish Groot." because I haven't stopped laughing about that all year.
I get that. What's number? No, go through your top 5. Just do each one of us will do our just top 5.
All right, the next one, Peter Pan and Wendy.
I'm with you. That's
oh my god.
Yeah, yes.
This movie made me laugh at Disney losing $500 million this year. This was a garbage movie, a fundamental misunderstanding of Peter Pan, made with cowardice by a studio that doesn't seem to understand people anymore.
Yeah,
it's awful.
It's Disney doing its thing, bleeding its IPs dry. It's so fucking.
The color paletting is bad. You know, the clear messaging and, you know, gearing this towards women, which I don't mind. Yeah. When you see my number 1 movie, believe me, I'm not the anti-feminist that I might be coming across as. But sorry,
no, right?
If you're going like, we need a Peter Pan movie for women, and it's this trash, that's an insult to women. Women deserve better movies than Peter Pan and Wendy.
The main issue with this movie was that it's like the same they did with Aladdin, where they took the main guy who's supposed to be the main dude, which is Peter Pan, and it's like threw him to the fucking side. And it's like, let's celebrate feminism. And by any means, I'm not against feminism. I'm just saying that it literally just threw.
But you're complaining about one scene from Aladdin. You're complaining about the you know, when she kicks open the door and she's like, "I'm a busy businesswoman who don't need no man" song.
Yeah.
That is 2 minutes of that movie. It's laughable. It's awful.
This was the whole movie.
And it made me stand up and piss on the movie screen. But it's only like 2 to 5 minutes of that movie. The rest of it's fine. It's still Aladdin's movie.
This is like the whole dark, movie. It was bleak, and definitely some professional help should have getting to those kids. Like, something was fucking wrong with this.
Peter Pan and Wendy.
Not once. You can't have Peter Pan and not make it feel fantastical. The reason why the last Peter Pan movie that really fucking worked, besides the cartoon, was goddamn Hook, because they made it feel like it's a fantasy world. It is
a celebration of a child's imagination. If you can't get that much right, don't do the fucking movie. I mean, look, a couple years ago, Robert and I reviewed Pan, and we were like, what the fuck is this shit? Yeah. Peter Pan and Wendy made Pan look like Killers of the Flower Moon. Good fucking God. I've never been angry. I have never been angry and bored at a movie before. This accomplished that task.
Continue on.
Little Mermaid.
Didn't see it.
I don't care that she's black.
I knew that was going to be. I perfectly set it up to make sure that that poster was in my group, just to make sure I can support you.
I don't care.
We didn't see this movie. We didn't see this movie. We steered clear of it.
Let me tell you, my wife was on the phone with her other partner the entire time, and I think she had a better time with the movie than I did. It was so, like, the girl that plays the Little Mermaid, she's a great singer. She can't act her way out of a paper fucking bag. She looks like it is a special gift and task to be able to operate in green screen. And if you can't do it, your movie falls apart, which is the biggest problem I have with Little Mermaid. I stopped. We're all using the same. You guys use Restream. I use StreamYard. It's the same technology.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to start taking us out of the screen when I was playing the intro, because there was that like half a second delay where we all looked dead-eyed, as we're waiting for the thing to start. That's her through this entire fucking movie.
Oh my God.
My dude. God. Like, is she a ginger? Does she have no soul? I've never, my God. Do you remember Amazon Women on the Moon? David Alan Greer's like Don No Soul Simmons? That's her daughter.
God damn.
She's an embarrassment to black people. Jesus Christ. Awful. The CGI, awful. This Eric, non-character, awful. Songs, awful for the most part. My poor daughter is like, why do you hate this movie? And I'm like, why do you like things that suck?
All right, continue on. Let's hear the next one.
No, I have 5 more hours of complaining about The Little Mermaid. It hurt me.
I get it. Continue.
So speaking of movies that made me angry this year, I had a fucking meltdown during this review. And it was because I had to say something to the effect of, if your ego integrity is so weak that you can't handle a criticism of something you like without getting your feelings hurt, that's your fucking problem, not mine. And with that, I tell you, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen. It was definitely one of the worst movies this year. If it's on one of your lists, I'm fucking off this podcast.
It's on my list, but it's something that I didn't register. I didn't register it.
Everybody remembers where I'm from, right? Everybody knows what state I was born in, right?
This was boring, hot garbage. This was yet another Kennedy put a chick in it, make her gay. I mean, it was just awful. Like, and what killed me, what the worst thing about, I'm going to really wrap this up because I know you guys are like, for you, please move this on.
No, sorry.
But one of the worst things about Indiana Jones was, as kids, we watch this movie and you want to be Indiana Jones because he looks death in the face. He goes on adventures. He learns the thing. He changes over time. The stuff with Marion, I said this in our podcast. Knowing why things work is important if you're going to redo them in some way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when he's talking to Marion and he's just been beat to living shit, he's been like run over, and he's just cut to pieces and she's trying to nurse him up and he's like, ow, everything hurts. And she's like, well, motherfucker, where doesn't it hurt? Here, bitch. Like, that's why that scene works.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And then they redo it in this movie not knowing why that scene works and it looks like a bad cover song.
Yeah.
And my other thing about this is you should not watch a movie where your hero desperately wants to die. And that's what they thought was a good idea for Indiana Jones.
That's a good point.
Let him want to die.
That's amazing.
Oh my God, he wants to die.
That's amazing.
He wants to die
Fuck you, movie. Fuck
All right,
you.
and what's your number one worst of the year?
Expendables 4. Look, Megan Fox is a hot piece of ass. She couldn't fucking save this movie. This was the dumbest shit. They kill Sylvester Stallone in the first 10 minutes and then they bring him back to life at the end. And I'm like, come on, man. I watch wrestling and I can't believe that shit. My top 5, everybody.
Okay, my
3 out of my 5 Disney movies.
Chris.
Rebel Moon Part 1, Child of Fire is one of the worst movies I've seen this year. It was
that might have made my list had I watched it before. We just did our review of it on Monday, so I just watched it.
Remember everything that was cool about Star Wars and to take all the shit out? You had Rebel Moon. Do it in one sentence. Actually, no. It's just you have all these actors. Just make them interesting and put them in a fucking Star Wars Avatar ripoff, and you strangely Inglourious Bastards, and you have Rebel Moon Part 1, Child of Fire. It's like you have all these characters that are just the most boring you can imagine. And I don't understand what
it was like the porn version of Star Wars without the sex.
Exactly. Yeah, it was fucking awful.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
I don't know how okay, I'll move on from it because it upsets me. Shazam 2 is one of the worst movies I've seen this year too.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Why the fuck do we...
Fuck you. There's way worse
Why the fuck do we even have this movie?
It was a decent movie. It was a decent movie. It wasn't a good movie.
It was fucking...
I mean, Lucy Liu Dead-eyed in the camera wasn't great, but... I mean, come on, man.
Come on. All right. Move on. I don't even want this argument.
Hold on, real quick. It's shit like that what DC's starting over.
Argument. What?
It's shit like this what DC's starting over. It's a movie. It's a nothing movie. It's a nothing burger movie, and they act like that we should like this or they had that movie for the ending scene for all the people who really love the Snyderverse type shit. And dude, fuck that movie. Shouldn't do.
Okay, so here's why I'm not going to beat you up on it like your hetero life mate over there. I can see if I didn't think it was the worst movie this year. I had fun with it. My kids had fun with it.
By any means, it's not even my top 20 worst.
But if you're one of these people that's like, I'm looking for well-made movies, okay, I see your argument.
But then the other thing is this: you went to a fucking superhero movie looking for
Neil, you brought me
congratulations,
Neil.
Congratulations to MCU for fucking making that a thing. But goddamn superhero movies! I saw in 1990. I saw Captain America with a rubber suit and Red Skull with a fucking weird shit. And guess what? I walked out of that theater happy because I
got two words for you. I got 2 words for you. Howard the Duck. Duck boobs. Woo!
So,
yes.
Neil, I wouldn't have seen this if you hadn't made me, but that, so that's what I'm saying. So
I'm sorry you hate comic books. Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
We're making duck food.
What the fuck just happened?
My son with the run-in.
Okay. Consecration. I made you see this earlier. Yeah, you don't remember it, do you? Consecration was.
I never saw it.
Did you see it?
No.
I don't even have it in my. I have 120 movies in my thing, and I don't think I even have it here.
Jenna Malone religious horror movie. We saw it. I know we did. But
all right, cool. Was it shitty?
Yeah, it was awful.
Why was it shitty?
It was boring as fuck and nonsensical. And I apologize to the person that brought this to me. So, but it was lame. Yeah. So it's moving on. Peter Pan and Wendy we talked about. Fucking awful.
Yep.
And then the worst movie I've seen this year, which I said this was number one, is Hypnotic.
Okay, I'm gonna pee while you explain why it's bad.
Okay. You remember Hypnotic, dude? You know?
Hypnotic, yeah. Ben Affleck. I know exactly.
It was a piece of shit movie, right?
I mean, I went with before I knocks him off, the other one on that same review podcast episode. The other one, Mother, was the one that I marked as being the bad of the two. Because I was like, oh, both those movies are bad. But no movie was worse than Mother.
Fuck Mother. I don't even remember that movie now.
It's on the same episode,
I know,
bro.
dude. I just don't remember Mother. I mean, which Mother?
I literally marked it like I haven't saved the Mother with Jennifer Lopez.
Oh yeah, that's
we actually did a whole episode, Mark.
Yeah. We did Ben Affleck Bennifer episode. Yeah,
because Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez were back together, and both their movies, one in the movie theater, one in the fucking at Netflix, both were released the same weekend,
and they're both fucking awful.
They were both god awful. That's his number one.
I'd like to believe I'm a Rodriguez fan, but after seeing this movie, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Oh man! All right. So that's your top 6 of the worst movies of top 5, whatever.
All right, no, go.
Why do you correct me all the time? Right? Do you not love me like you used to?
I love you always.
Is that what happened?
Neil passed it. Go ahead.
I hate it when you just sit there and you make fun of me in front of people. Like, we don't know these people. Maybe they'll like me, and you don't like me. But number 5, boom, William Dafoe shitting in an apartment for an hour and a half, fucking inside.
Well, that got his cell job. Now I want to see it.
No, it was 3.5 hours, 5.5 hours. I don't know how many hours it was.
Yeah, we talked about
that's what it felt like.
We talked about why this didn't work.
Like, believe me, I like him, and I love who he is as an actor. Believe me, I love Dafoe. Like, the first time I remember seeing him was, of course, the wonderful Boondock Saints, one of the greatest movies ever made in Human Possible. But whatever, dude. You can blow your own horn. You're from Texas. You're from Texas. You have no idea what a Chicago guy from Irish Chicago guy.
Fucker, I like Boondock Saints, but saying one of the best movies of all time. That's when I went.
I would all day long. I love Boondock Saints. But Inside is literally just. It was trying to be artsy, but it wasn't. It was trying to be creative, but it wasn't. It was just one of those movies that every scene took far too long. Like, maybe they cut the scenes a little bit more to make it seem a little bit more like he was part of the struggle, but it didn't. It didn't. It was fucked up. It was bullshit. It made me not like Dafoe, and I love Dafoe.
Well, Dafoe's American Treasure. That dude's amazing, yeah. But the Inside was not.
Second movie of the year that I was so pissed off I had to watch was, yes, You People with Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy. Literally, if you would have came up to me and told me Eddie Murphy is a great comedian and this is the movie you have to watch to know that, if I've never seen an 80s fucking comedy with Eddie Murphy in it, I would question your whole theory on comedy. Like, literally, me and you probably are not going to be in the same room again. Like, this was like one of the shittiest fucking movies of the entire year. I hated it. I hated every moment of it. Not all the laughs were cheap and dumb, and they weren't dumb in a good way. And I was stoned watching it, so like you think I'd have laughed at that shit, but I didn't. Of course, the one that we already talked about, Peter and Wendy. Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
Fuck that movie up the goat ass. Captain Hook sucked, and I'm a pirate, so Captain Hook sucked, and I just did not like that fact. I didn't like the fact that they took the main character out of the story, like he didn't even matter.
Yeah,
I hated that part of it. Number 2. Oh, are you ready, Mark? Are you ready? Chris is gonna fucking hate me for this. Are you ready? He's gonna fucking kill me. He might drive the 3 hours from Kansas City to Tulsa for this one. Are you ready? Number 2, worst movie of the year. Ready? Bay is Afraid.
Oh, is Afraid.
Fuck that movie and Joaquin Phoenix and all the bullshit that went into that goddamn piece of shit. That was 3.5 hours. That was a wasted of my life. The movie didn't fucking make sense. Nothing came together. The first hour was kind of good, and then they had like kind of a paint scene, and there was a whole Mariah Carey thing. Didn't make sense, and it's clear that this project was Ari Aster just vomiting his psychology morale all over the page and just slapping a fucking good old Joaquin on the top.
Okay, one thing, I love half that movie, I hate the other half. So
I'm glad it's not in anything that you made a list of tonight. No. Because if I see it, I'm gonna fucking rip it apart.
I love the ambition of it, but it just didn't. Ari Aster did something I don't know why he did. So
I remember the ambition of it. And finally, being a sweet little nerd that grew up in a nice little northern Indiana, Chicago town, I used to go and read books from the library. And one of my favorite books to read were by a guy named Stephen King. Mm-hmm. And when somebody butchers and fucks Stephen King over, I hate it more than anything in the world. Pet Cemetery, Bloodlines.
Piece of shit. This was on my list.
Oh,
this was on it, dude.
My God.
This was on it.
I cannot not tell you how very little of Stephen King's vision of Pet Cemetery is in this fucking movie. Pam Grier and David Company could not even save this fucking movie, and they were in the goddamn thing. This movie is shit on top of shit on top of shit. Like, it's like you took a shit on a dead body, and then that dead body took a shit on your shit, which then took a shit on the shit of the shit that you shit. Like, literally.
Yes. You know what I love about your guys' podcast? And when you guys ask me, like, hey, would you mind syndicating us? Would you mind putting us on your network and kind of, sharing content with us? And I'm like, yeah, because I'll tell you what, your catchphrase of "we watch movies so you don't have to" couldn't be more true. You guys watch so much garbage this year. And then I saw what you did.
You know how his fault it is? You know whose fault that is?
You watch so much fucking straight to streaming trash. And it was so funny because I would go to Robert like, oh, this is the talk of the town. We should talk about this. And then I would see you guys did it go, no, them two fuckers got it for us. We don't need to be involved. We don't need to totally our hands with this.
Yeah, well, Neil, a while back, he said we need to do at least one streaming and one at home movie.
We did it because to be honest, I work a lot in like live concerts, live events because of my job, and so there's times where it's hard to even get to the movie theater once in a week, let alone twice. And there's no way I could I'm like some of these streaming movies. I literally got to one of them. I don't know where the poster is, but it's right here. I got done hanging out with the Used all night long, freaking hanging out with them until 2:00 in the morning, and then went to the studio, had to work, came home, watched the fucking streaming movie, so the next day I could write the podcast that we have to do.
But yeah, it's this started back in the pandemic when we started doing one streaming, one theater. I'd go to the theater twice a week, but Neil can't do that, so we made a compromise.
It's a good.
I have an active life.
Not look, not to jerk you guys off or anything, but it's a good format. When I was before I was social, I was doing what we call triple features in our network, and it was usually 3 streaming movies, and it was to try to keep up. I'm going to tell you just real quick, and then I'll let you have your show back that I took hostage. I can't keep up with the amount of content that's being pumped into streaming services now. Between the television shows and the movies, it's way too much. It's way overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I've just kind of thrown my hands up and said, if something, touches my fancy, we'll get into it. But I kind of stick to theatrical exhibition. Yeah. And that's it now because I can't fucking do this anymore. They took the wrong lessons from the post-COVID streaming wars. And now there's a massive correction, but it's going to be a while before there's enough of a correction to where I don't feel like I'm just mired in shit all the time and I got to like run away.
I'm with you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
and it's not just them. Like literally one episode of our podcast for a news episode, I went through all these news segments and the only thing I had, and I didn't do it, but was like the list of the Hallmark movies coming out. And the names of these Hallmark movies, which is straight to Hallmark, streaming and stuff like that, were so bad. Just the names that I was just like, what the fuck? They're not even trying anymore. Like, they're not even trying to be like...
There was a point where the new Netflix movie rang out. They're like, oh, that's the talk of the town. That's that's what all the cool kids are watching. There's like an F. Gary movie coming up with Kevin Hart. And I got asked, like, are you guys going to review it? I'm like, no, who the fuck has time? Because the churning out of, just on Netflix alone, the amount of straight to Netflix streaming movies now where they're going to give... Like, honestly, Chris could go get a fucking check from Netflix and make his own gay cowboys eating pudding movie. They're just spending money to spend it.
Yeah.
And then, like, who the fuck has this amount of time? Look,
I know.
If we're all Netflixing and chilling that much, we don't have a population problem anymore. I'll tell you that right now.
No, and it's like, it's not just Netflix and all that shit, but like, even like one of, my favorite thing, pro fucking wrestling. How much pro wrestling's out there right now? And people like that are pro wrestling people that I hang out with that are like, dude, you need to know this, this, and this, and this. And it's like, dude, I also like movies. I also like TV. I also like video games.
I like to go hang out with my kids.
Yeah, I like to be outside.
I go to concerts. Like, I don't have time for this.
Yes, exactly. But on that note, God damn it, Mark, you gotta now tell us, what is your number 5 movie of 2023?
Well, I want to share something with you guys really quick. I really will make this quick. Mm-hmm. I'm an ally of the LGBTQI community, and I identify as transracial. Mm-hmm. I am a 6'5" black fella. And with that said, my movie, my number 5 movie of this year, The Color Purple.
Oh wow, you haven't seen this?
Wow, I did not. We didn't even see that this year. And
I saw it with my daughter. My daughter and I, the thing we bond over is musicals. Mm-hmm. And besides Wonka, which, hint, hint, that's coming up next. I'm a big fan of musicals when they're done right, not Cats. They're the stuff of wonder. I like singing. I like dancing. I like black people. I like, I like everything I like.
Black people.
Yeah. I do too.
No, I absolutely, I think it's not perfect, but it was well put together. The songs were great. The performances were great. The story is uplifting and wonderful. It touched me in the feels more so than some of the stuff my honorable mentions did, which is why they're honorable mentions and this is on the list.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you have an opportunity to see The Color Purple, give it your money. It deserves it.
Okay. Well, I will want to. Neil, what's your number 5? And I'll do mine number 5 after you.
It's not how the line goes.
Fine. We talked about number 5 was the Fire Moon for me. That's why I already talked about. So, I had nothing more to say than didn't what said. It's got my boy Plemons in it, and I love Plemons. And so, Killers of Fire Moon. We talked about it earlier. It's a great movie. It's my number 5. Neil,
what is your number 5?
Killers of the Fire Moon.
Yeah. What's my number 5?
I don't fucking know. Tell me.
I think it was Chris, being rhetorical.
Well, Chris, it's all about porn. It's all about Frankenstein porn. It's Poor Things.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
I thought this movie, even though it kind of fucked me up for a while, because I'm like, oh, she's got a baby brain and she's being fucked as a baby.
Ew.
But she had the mom body, but the baby brain, and that kind of fucked me up for a little bit in the movie.
Gross.
But It is one of the most beautifully shot and beautifully acted movies. Mark,
so now I have the black community. I'm not for this. I'm sorry.
So Poor Things, aka Frankenstein likes to bang everything. The movie was great. It showed the dark underbelly of life and love. Funny, shocking, thoughtful, and progressive. It's also about massively entertaining. Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Defoe, and are just amazing in their parts. It's steampunk, it's retro, so it gives me that feel. It almost is like BioShock Infinity, which is like one of my favorite games. Therefore,
I saw someone describe this D24 as Barbie, which I get really quick. I love
this for me.
Yeah, I love this movie. I think Emma Stone's doing weird shit when she does weird shit. I'm very happy. Yorgos Lanthimos, the director, I love The Lobster. I love Killing the Sacred Deer, but he matures in this one where actually people act instead of just talk. We'll talk about this a little bit more later. But I walked in.
Mark, no, we're not talking about this a little more. Let me finish my fucking paragraph, you asshole. Anyway, you're the one that interrupted me. I was in the middle of a sentence and you interrupted me.
All right,
you're off my Christmas card list. Anyway, just so you didn't think, it's not just like Emma Stone's acting of Bella was ridiculously well, and it was so deserved the Golden Globe that it got this year. But on top of that, the person that really deserves the Golden Globe is Mark Ruffalo. Like, that dude played like the slapstick freaking old school 1920s comedy stick, and I loved every moment of Mark Ruffalo's performance. Poor Things to me is my number 5 movie.
Okay, we'll talk about it more later, but yeah, Poor Things is great.
Number 4 for Mr. Mark.
Wonka, we already talked about it. Okay. I don't have a lot more to add to it because I know we're running long on time. It's wonderful. It took me back to Golden Age Hollywood, like I said before. Songs are great. One thing I didn't say before, which I wanted to, the archetype of the genius black girl child.
Oh my gosh, Noodle is amazing.
Yeah, Noodle's great. Noodle is like the antithesis of the broad that was in Dumbo. It was nice that they didn't give her autism as a superpower.
Yeah, that's good.
It was great. I have to say, like, Wonka, it was the most surprisingly competent movie I saw this year because I really expected nothing.
It
was one of those where it's on the list because it was the hot movie of that week.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how I said this, there was a time where my movie podcast was essentially, I'm going to see it anyway, so I might as well talk about it.
Yeah.
And it kind of evolved into, we'll just talk about whatever's hot that week. And this year coming up, 2024, and last year, there was this transition of, I don't even want to talk about half of these movies. I don't want to go see half of these movies, but now I'm stuck in this cycle. But it's because I'm stuck in the cycle that I saw Wonka and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was pleasantly. I walked in dreading it, and I was showed how wrong I was.
He dreaded because I said we should go see it.
Also, I need more gay foppish Hugh Grant.
Oh no, shit, right?
I need Hugh Grant's character from The Gentleman in every movie. As an Oompa Loompa,
oh my God,
as Worf, as Han Solo. I don't give a fuck. More gay foppish Hugh Grant.
All right, my number 4, I guess.
Chris.
Number 4, right? Oppenheimer. We talked about it. Oppenheimer's number 4. No one can.
Yeah, that's where they all die at the end.
Yeah, no one can be a polarized family on the show.
Not the people they show on the camera screen. They not the million of people that were.
Dude, I thought
God, the Japanese got over this faster than you have.
Yeah, dude, you like this movie. I don't know why you're talking shit all of a sudden.
I know. That's the one reason I didn't get it higher. It's because they didn't.
As an ally of the Japanese community, Neil fucking Patrick, whatever your last name is.
Blackwood. It's Blackwood.
Okay. Whatever your porn last name.
No, it's not. I
think what Neil does is that we like something, he'll like it too, but he'll shit on it, so it gets on my nerves a bit. But
yeah, he's me when I was a teenager.
It's an Indiana thing.
I get it, Chris. Neil is me when I was a teenager.
All right, so my number 4 was Oppenheimer. We talked about it. I'm sure to say, Neil, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is, of course, the story of one of the greatest pro wrestling families in the entire world. The only reason this movie is not higher on my list is because me, as being a wrestling historian, they left out a couple people.
Yeah, 2 suicides.
Yeah, but the Iron Claw, to see that. All right. Let's not even talk about how comic book movies are a thing now, but to know that something in pro wrestling is now a movie on the big screen for a guy like me, who literally my entire life, everything I love is considered nerdy bullshit and dumb. To have a movie that great where Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White just knock it out of the park.
I have so many problems with this movie.
I have problems with
the fact that it's a giant bummer.
I have problems with too. But, and even when I knew, because I know the story. I know the story backwards, forwards, upside down, and in my.
Did you watch the Rise and Fall of World Class Championship Wrestling?
No, it's not the Rise and Fall. It's the Triumph and you don't even have the right name for it. So
whatever you thought you did, anyway. You dick. You knew what I was talking about, Melissa. Jesus Christ.
The tragedy and triumph of WCCU. Anyway, but that's not even the thing. The moment that, like, the whole movie, like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. But that last moment following Zac Efron being Kevin Von Erich, and that last scene where he says those words, the kid's like, why are you crying, Daddy? He's like, I used to have 4 brothers and now I'm not one. I bawled like a goddamn freaking baby got my bottle taken away. Like, I bawled, and that's right when the lights came up. And to have that much emotion out of a wrestling movie for me, when No Holds Barred exists, when Ready to Rumble exists.
Don't you sully the good goddamn name and No Holds Barred and Tiny Blister
I know, sir. But to have all those wrestling movies exist that was nothing but bullshit my entire life, and to have a wrestling movie that literally made me feel something is why it literally has to be in my top 5.
Okay, couple of things. It's in my honorable mention. It almost made my top 10. So a couple of years ago, I took my family to go see Coco, and me and my daughter, famously, historically, cried so hard our faces hurt. I now refer to anything where I have that emotional as Coco crying. Yeah. Like, I was inconsolable. Yeah. The only other time I think I've had that visceral of a reaction to a film was Up, and it was after I lost a baby. So, that's how bad that was. And I went into the Iron Claw as a wrestling fan, same as Neil,
right,
wanting to Coco cry because I know the Von Erich story. It's the worst.
But I feel like I held it every time because I wanted to Coco cry. I held it back because I was like, oh, I know this is where he's getting married. I know the tragedy that comes right after this.
I tried, man. I went into it. Like, I brought my kids. I brought my bonus kid. I'm like, it's the saddest story in wrestling. Get ready, kids. We'll go see Migration when this is done. We'll get out of this. But for now, like, let's go watch the depressing wrestling movie. And at the end of it, I was like, every time there was an opportunity for bravery, they ran away from it. Carrie's death, David's death. Dude, David's death is awful.
Yeah.
Like, the real story behind David's death is one of the worst I've ever heard in wrestling. And that includes people getting stabbed with scissors. And they don't even show it. The stuff that Carrie went through, I mean...
That's what I try to explain to Chris, is like, there's so many different things. This could have been an up, down, up, and then, back to where...
I had a harder time watching Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah. Dude, Jake Roberts this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll shut up. This is
no, keep going on this.
Jake Roberts taking a pregnant pause at his Hall of Fame speech after he's making everyone laugh. He's being affable. He's being charming. He's being the most positive Jake the Snake Roberts we had seen since the Diamond Dallas Page movie that he was in.
Yeah.
And then he goes, all my friends are dead. Oh, ouch, Jake. And that hit me harder than the Iron Claw. And so, like, I feel like the movie, because it incompetently almost focuses too much on David, on Kevin, sorry. So focuses too much on Kevin to where it robs the tragedy of its impact.
Yeah, I feel like there's that much of it, but at the same point, I really feel like that him being the only surviving one, like that was just as big of his impact.
What do you guys think about Chris?
Your opinion, it didn't hit me the way that they didn't hit me that way, and I walked out feeling almost robbed of what I wanted as an emotionally cathartic experience.
Mark, what did you think about the omission of Chris Von Erich in this? Like, they took out a whole brother, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure look, any adaptation's going to have its creative differences.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? And so I would like to hear the filmmaker's reason for that, but again, I think
he said I listened.
Go. I'll see the floor.
Yeah. But he said it was because of time concept, and like he wanted to keep it under a 2-hour movie, try to keep it as much about a 2-hour movie as possible.
Maybe cut some of the stuff with the wife then.
Yeah. That's what I thought in my perspective. But he even talked to Kevin, and like they were on the phone together when he was like, "Hey, what part of this?"
And they also, I also read that he's like, and it's so much of a bummer. Yeah, it's a big fucking bummer movie.
I mean, that's a lot to take in as a director.
The acting in it is
story ever.
The acting is fantastic, and I can't believe the transformation.
Look,
Zac Efron
let me tell you
through.
something.
Yeah,
if you're gonna take on the Von Erich story, you need 3 hours, and it needs to be Schindler's List fucking depressing. This wasn't that.
Yeah.
Too sweet on that. Yeah. And on that note, number 3.
Go for it, Mark.
John Wick 4. For time, I'll just say I kind of said everything what I said about this movie before. Best made action movie of this year. Best shot. Best acted. Best color paletting. Keanu Reeves is amazing. John Wick 4 is so good, I'm mad they're making Ballerina. And I'm mad they're making
I'm with you.
I'm angry at Hollywood now for this. Like, it ended so perfectly. It earned its ending, and so few movies do these days. And yet, because of Lizard Brain, they're continuing with the stupid fucking franchise, and it drives me nuts. But yeah, John Wick, if you haven't seen John Wick 4, you're not a real movie person.
It's amazing. Some of the best scenes in cinema in the past 10 years are in John Wick 4. And,
dude, how many, if you're a man with a penis and you didn't fucking like feel every stair he falls down, you're dead inside or on heroin. I don't know what's wrong with you.
My number 3.
I don't even know how to say that.
Number 3 is when we talk about probably big time. So my number 3 is Barbie. We can talk about the cultural phenomenon that is Barbie, because it's an amazing.
No, I'm sighing in frustration because of where it's on my list, and like, damn it, I wanted to wait for my moment.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So it's a cultural phenomenon. It's funny as fuck. It's Gerwig and Baumbach made the best screenplay they could make for Barbie. Like, when I heard they were making it, I was like, I have hope for it. And then when I saw the preview, the trailer for it, my hope was so high, and it delivered. Margot and Gosling, fucking perfect. It's one of the few times I think when it comes to box office, the audience gets it right and gives the money to a movie that fucking deserves it. Because this, like,
I feel like me and Mark are going to talk in detail about this in a little bit, and I feel like we're at the same number on that one. So let's go ahead and we'll kind of pop that one.
Let me interject something real quick.
No, not yet. Let's talk about this.
Hang on, I got to tell really quick this anecdote. So I didn't know what Barbie was going to be. And
I'm going to stop you. Because if I think I know what number you have this at, me and you are going to have this discussion later. Let's not have it now. Let's move on because we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, okay. Since
before we get there.
I'll save it. But I'll say that it's one of the few times I think the audience gets it right when it comes to going to see a movie and making it the number 1 movie of the year. Which is a lot of times that movie is dog shit or even worse. But this one, Barbie, deserves everything it got. This message loud and clear through the whole film, as fuck the whole way through, And to me, it's an instant classic and a movie that everyone should see.
I bawled.
Exactly.
I fucking bawled at the end of it.
Yeah.
I know, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit more because I feel like we're going to be on the same wavelength, Mark. So let's move on to that one. But let me pop in my number 3 real quick because you guys are going to be like, "What the fuck?" Are you ready to be surprised?
Yes.
By Neil's number 3. Cool.
Oh,
The
good.
Holdovers
Nice.
is my number 3.
See,
Look at you.
I love Christmas movies. I love Christmas movies. I do. This is a movie I feel like I can add into my brain, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, my Bad Santa, my Bad Mama's Christmas, my,
Bad Mama's Christmas, really?
Oh, yeah, dude, I love Bad Mom's Christmas. It's like one of my favorite fucking Christmas movies.
Okay.
I feel like this is an additive I can add on to. Paul Giamatti and
Dominic Sessa.
Dominic
Sessa.
What?
Dominic Sessa. That's the guy's. That's your ass.
No, that's not the person I care about.
Devon Rudolph? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Devon Joy Rudolph. Both deserve their Golden Globes
Okay.
for this fucking movie that they just got this past weekend. I feel like I was already on track of making this one of my top 5, and that totally cemented it. From going from a guy known as Pig Vomit to a guy that is now one of the most best actors out there,
yeah.
and is celebrated.
Listen, he made Wine Country. Cut him some slack. Jesus Christ.
Dude, he killed the Merlot. He killed the Merlot fucking business.
I am not drinking Merlot.
Yeah, because of one line that's less than 10
Not
seconds.
fucking drinking Merlot. Yeah.
I'm not drinking Merlot.
American Splendor. I mean, like,
oh yeah, so good.
Paul Giamatti.
I mean,
come on.
anything the guy has ever touched has been great.
Yeah.
And I love Paul Giamatti. And this movie here is literally going into one of my holiday movies to watch every.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad
so
that's
like when I say
rewatchability,
I am literally giving this the heads up. Like this is like up there with like all the movies I watch every year, from Die Hard to freaking Santa's Coming to Town. The Holdovers are in that movie. I should have probably given it number 1. But I didn't because we all know what probably number 1 is.
Neil, thank you so much for doing this. By the way, I thought you didn't like it, and you tricked me. So thanks.
Oh, dude, I'm not done yet.
Okay,
Mark, you number 2.
Oppenheimer. I don't know what like neckbeardy, weirdo, non-movie liking people don't like Chris Nolan, but he's the best filmmaker in major motion pictures in the mainstream right now.
He ruined my Joker. He ruined my Batman.
Neil, calm the fuck down.
I'm still upset about that. I'm upset about that.
Calm down.
I'm sorry.
You take a Xanax. It's okay. Let's talk about how great the man is.
Oh, he's amazing.
And how big money Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
It's funny because we talk about like if you're on TikTok enough, there's clips of Moneyball like every third TikTok, and you talk about like one of the things that they said in Moneyball is there are players that are paid a lot, but they're really not worth it for the effort that they put in, for the for the talent that they have, and paying somebody what they're worth for the content they produce or for the job they do is a rare thing in our society. But when it happens, it's magic, and I applaud them. And Chris Nolan is one of the few. He makes the best movies in mainstream filmmaking on Earth.
Yeah,
his movies are darn near perfect. He is a darn near perfect director.
No, his movies are perfect. He just ruined one of my characters.
Okay,
I understand what you're saying, sir.
So the only problem
I try to make it very clear to people. I like
no one understood what you're saying. What is it about Batman now?
All right. I like his movies. He just ruined one of my favorite characters.
I think
yes, Chris.
Chris Nolan. I think he also takes chances on stuff like Dunkirk.
Yeah,
really is kind of an experimental film.
That's the thing. Like. So, okay, you guys haven't heard me say this. Your audience hasn't heard me say this, but I talked about this when we reviewed Oppenheimer, and I've talked about it the year before when this happened. So Chris Nolan got in a fight with Warner Brothers over Tenet, and it was such a bad fight that he walked away from the studio, and there was a bidding war for the next Chris Nolan film. They were like. And Universal won. Universal won the bidding war for Chris Nolan. They were like, "Here's a bag of money, Scrooge McDuck," and here, So Chris Nolan, what crowd pleasing IMAX beautiful piece of art are you going to give us? And this big dick motherfucker walked into Universal, took that bag of money and said, a 3-hour biopic about Oppenheimer and the atomic bomb. And Universal execs heard those words and jumped out the fucking window. Like, what have we done? And it almost made $1 billion.
Yeah. It's
no motherfucker on earth did what Chris Nolan did.
Yeah.
And it only because the movie that's my number one I enjoyed more than Oppenheimer is the only reason Oppenheimer isn't my number one.
Yeah.
And this is coming from the guy who's like
my other argument. This is in my top 10 list is rewatchability.
Well, that's
can't watch.
That's my issue with it being number 2 and not number 1.
Yeah.
My only other criticism of Oppenheimer, and I said it on our podcast, was I thought the nuclear explosion was going to be more than it was. And every time I've said that, I was like, everyone thinks I'm a lunatic. But like, I don't know.
I'm with you.
Again, I went into it thinking, oh my God, it's going to be like the Death Star blowing up. And it was what it was. And I'm like, oh, I'm a little underwhelmed. And like every other, like Robert, I got fucking savaged on my own podcast for saying that, but it's my opinion. But yeah, Oppenheimer.
I agree with you. And I think that's why another reason why I thought it was in the back of my area, because it's like, this is the atomic bomb we're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
How do you not make that scene epic? How do you
I
not
saw
make
it
that?
in IMAX. Why wasn't he blown out of my seat?
Exactly.
I thought I was watching Backdraft.
Backdraft. God damn.
Anyway, yeah. Look, Oppenheimer is, in my opinion, the second best movie of this year. In every way, a movie's quality should be measured.
Chris, what is your number 2 movie of this year?
So my number 2 movie is Talk to Me. It's the best horror film I've seen this year.
He even bought the hand too.
Yeah,
he bought the hand. He bought the hand. He bought the hand.
Yeah,
for the movie.
Yeah. So
where's it at?
It's in the living room, but also it's a pipe.
He literally bought the hand that they hold in the movie.
I got it, and I realized it's a fucking pipe. And so you suck on the finger, and I'm like, I can't fucking ruin that pipe. So it's just furniture now. But I'm a sucker for creative horror, and this really, really, really hit the mark for me. Swapped out gore for genuine scares, and I find out, I kind of hate Gen Z, but this one actually made me feel happy about it because they have a Gen Z drug party, but instead of drugs, they're doing the haunted hand. The feel, the look, the scares were so well done. It gives me. So the 2 leads are Sophie Wilde and Joe Bird, and I want more of them after this movie. It's one of the few horror films that even characters I care about, and it's one of those movies that subverts expectations, as in it goes there when you think it's not going to go there. You're like, they're not going to do that, right? And they fucking do it, and somehow it works. It's the best horror film since The Barbarian that I've seen, and Barbarian's been like sung its praises. I don't know how it affected me so much. But everyone's like, oh, okay, that's up there in your list, because I told people.
It was one of Robert's favorites, too, so you're, again, in good company.
Okay, good. Talk to Me, I fucking love it. It's the best horror film I've seen this past year, and I went to fucking Panic Fest and saw a ton of great horror films. So, Talk to Me, I fucking love this movie. I love it. I will have to love a child. I will let the finger fuck me up the ass if it wants to. That's how I love Talk to Me. Neil, did you like Talk to Me?
That's a little weird.
Yeah, Neil, did you like Talk to Me?
Yeah, I like Talk to Me. Actually, it's one of the movies that got knocked off all my list.
Fuck you.
Because of the other movies I remembered.
It's just so well done. It's so well done, and I'm scared of it.
And in that perspective, Chris, my number 2 is so well done.
Okay.
And made me forget about the Power Rangers. It made me forget about Rubber Monsters. But my number 2. It's Godzilla -1.
I'm not angry with that.
To me, for you to take Godzilla out of the fucking movie, to make it so Godzilla is not part of what I'm looking at right now, and make him afterthought of what I'm thinking about in this movie. Being a guy that has severe PTSD from like a lot of things that's happened, and I'm not going to go into them or anything like that, but for a guy that has that severe PTSD, to see a man go through that severe PTSD, to be in subtitles, which I already fucking hate doing, to be a movie that I'm usually very familiar because it's a rubber monster movie, and to be a movie that makes me feel so much that I care more about the characters than the guy whose name is in the fucking title of the goddamn movie I'm watching. That is not just creative writing, but creative directing, creative visuals. And then when you do add Godzilla to it, you do have the parts that Mark said earlier about like when he gets the nuclear thing going and stuff like that. For you to actually give me to give a damn and not laugh, get stoned, and just make fun of your rubber monster movie the whole time, for me to actually care about what went on in this film, dude, you deserve a hats off, and that's why it's my number 2. I've already rewatched this movie like 6 times.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And we only watched it like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah. Real quick before you get to the honorable mentions, but I'll go first in number 1 so we can all bro out on the top one for that one. But,
yeah, and let's go pretty fast with these guys because we're at like 2 hours and 20 minutes at this point.
All right, Mark, you want to go with your honorable mentions real quick?
Yeah, to make life easier and go fast. Super Mario Brothers and The Creator, which is a weird combination, but hold on. Give me. Thank you, boy.
Okay, love you.
Super Mario Brothers was in my top 10 because I didn't want to knock The Hustle. It was the only other $1 billion movie this year, and that matters. I know people are like, no, quality. No, people need to see your fucking movie. And everyone saw Super Mario just like everyone saw Barbie. It won my heart. It was the most closest representation of the IP, the beloved IP that I'd seen captured on film. It made Illumination stand out as the premier Tiffany animation studio in American cinema right now. Like, they are making the crowd pleasers that bring the money in. I mean, you wouldn't know that by migration, but Super Mario Brothers, $1 billion movie. Everyone had their doubts with Chris Pratt voicing Mario, but it worked. The story worked. They were able to do stuff with Princess Peach without making Princess Peach the Wendy of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Nice.
Yeah. But it was handled with love, care, competency, and it's one of the best movies of this year. It's just like, I'm not the animation guy. I appreciate animation, but for the same reason I didn't go gaga over Spider-Man, I tend to, you really have to fucking win me over to stay in my top 10 if I can't find 10 other non-animated movies. So that's why it's in my honorable mentions. The Creator, we had our problems with it. It was originally in my top 10, but then there was stuff I liked more. It has amazing visuals. The problem with The Creator is that it spawned a better conversation about artificial intelligence than it did a discussion of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So if you listen to our review of it, we have a great conversation about artificial intelligence and futurism and technology. And then we talk about the movie and we're like, it has problems.
I mean, it's you don't get sci-fi like that hardly ever. So seeing that coming out,
dude, don't get me wrong, I wanted to like The Creator more than I did, and there's a couple of times it misses the ball.
Okay.
And the other one was the Iron Claw.
Iron Claw, that's right.
Iron Claw.
Okay, so
all right, top 5 for you, Chris. Most honorable mentions.
The 3 I'm going with are Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Boo!
Yeah,
no, fucking A. Yeah, I watched that today.
I was a puddle during the movie. Fitting ending. Sad to see the only Marvel franchise I really love ending. It's just so damn enjoyable. I love spending time with people. So Neil gave me a clip that I'm going to play real quick. So this is from that movie, just said movie. It's,
yep, there you go.
Wedibud became.
That's not it. Fuck, I may have. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
I don't have it, man. I'm sorry.
Push the button. It looks like you're pushing the keyhole.
the what?
There's a button under the handle. Press that in.
Okay. Now what?
Open the fucking door.
That is a stupid design. And your instructions were very unclear.
So yeah, there's no fucking in another fuck word in any other Marvel film besides this one. But
hang on, was I supposed to pick 5 honorable mentions?
Well, yeah, yes. But we're just going down 3. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Just real quick, then Cocaine Bear, and now I'm done.
All right.
Yeah, but I loved it. I think it. I'm glad it's over, but I'm sad it's over. But I love Guardians. They're the only Marvel franchise I really truly love. Like that. That's the only one. Like,
all right, cool.
Can I tell you why I booed though? Like
just
some low-hanging fruit.
Why'd you boo it?
Because it's just a low-hanging fruit. It feels like who doesn't like the Guardians movies? Like, come on, man.
All right, my other 2 are They Clone Tyrone, which is amazing. Neil, They Clone Tyrone. We talked about this movie. You loved it.
Which movie?
They Cloned Tyrone.
Oh, They Cloned Tyrone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was gonna add that poster and I didn't.
It's a super unique sci-fi movie that came out on Netflix. No one saw it because it came out on Netflix, but it's slipped under the radar. It's got great performances by John Boyega, Jimmy Fox, and Antonio Paris, and it's even got appearances from David Alan Grier.
They Cloned Tyrone. It's a really good movie. It's like Ghetto Movie meets sci-fi. They fucked everything up.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
especially for somebody that likes the color purple. You will definitely love this movie.
But to keep this other one, and then my third favorite is John Wick Chapter 4. I said I didn't put sequels in my top 10, but if I did, this would be right where Mark put it. This is an amazing movie. John Wick 4 has the best fight scenes you'll see in cinema almost ever. That overhead scene, the overhead fight scene, long shot, is the best scene, the best long shot I've seen fucking ever too. It's amazing. But yeah, okay. All right, Neil, go for it.
That was it? That was your top 1?
I mean, top 3. I didn't really have an order for him, so.
I'll tell you top 5.
I do. Okay, the top 5 were Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse. But we're gonna talk about Dead Reckoning because.
Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, Cocaine Bear.
All right. Wait. Let's talk about this shit. All right. So my number 5 is Wonka. I love Wonka. That is like on my top 5 honorable mentions. It's a great movie. I love musicals. I love it. I'm going to watch it 104 times. But there's a movie I'm going to watch a little bit more than Wonka. And that is, Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. And for the first time in my entire creation on the goddamn planet, just like the Iron Claw, this was a movie that did Dungeons & Dragons some goddamn justice in this fucking world.
Are you looking for more partners? Because I know this girl, Alexis Hana.
Anyway. Another movie that is my top 3 in honorable mentions is the one, the only, and it's because it's probably the best in the entire series of 10 movies, and that's Saw 10.
Oh my God, get the fuck out of here.
Did you see it?
For them,
I reviewed it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for John Kramer being the actual protagonist of the movie and not Jigsaw, for him to actually get back at big money pharma and all that shit, I fucking loved it. It made me happy. It made me lovely. I love things that make me happy.
I'm with Neil on this one. I actually really like Solix.
Number 2 in my honorable mentions is the one, the only, Mark, you said it earlier, Evil Dead Rise. I fucking love Evil Dead Rise. It's one of the best horror movies of the entire year. There's only one horror movie in my entire fucking thing that I can think is better than Evil Dead Rise. And that is the one, the only, Mark, you're my buddy, because you've only said it like several times tonight. The most silly fucking movie that made more money just because it's a silly fucking name, a silly fucking movie, but we all enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it in the theater several times and enjoyed it with friends on many occasions this year. The one, the only, Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear. Yeah, like there's
my son is running for president. He's 10, or he's about to be 10. He's running for president now on the platform. a chicken in every pot and a cocaine in every bear.
Oh, exactly. You're
Vote
talking
Jonas
about
Radulich for president.
you have a video game you can go play online still to this day. I checked it out last night.
Nice.
I played it for a little bit. You have one of the best marketing, and to be honest, the way they did not take themselves serious and they had a good time just making a funny fucking ass movie. Elizabeth Banks and all them.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I tend to do running gags.
Right.
And I'm also a little sarcastic.
Yeah, sure. Just a
No
little.
way.
Just
What?
Yeah, a little bit.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
I know. Let me tell you how for months, all I did was talk about Cocaine Bear. I hyped this shit up like it was Endgame. Okay? That's all I fucking... My friends fucking hated me.
You're talking to a guy that literally his catchphrase is hookers and blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. So all I did was talk about Cocaine Bear. And then when we finally got to the movie, we got to the review, and I was so sad it's not as good as I wanted it to be.
I know. But
with a name like Cocaine Bear, you're like, this is gonna be fucking amazing.
So much fun watching it every time.
Yeah.
With every single person I had a chance to watch
I take my kids.
I was
I take my kids to
never
the movies almost
upset when I
weekly.
walked into a house and they're like, "We're gonna watch Cocaine Bear."
I take my kids to the movies weekly, and sometimes I have to see stuff twice because I either go with a partner or I go with my. Then I have to go with my kids.
Right.
I saw Cocaine Bear with a partner, and then because I had to see it in time for the review. So a week or so later, I took my kids, and then I usually take a picture with them in front of the movie poster, and there wasn't one where I took it. So instead, I took it with just them in front of the theater, and they're all like doing growly poses.
Yeah, I remember the picture. Yeah,
and the caption reads, "Show your children the arts."
So I saw Cocaine Bear, and about 6 seats over from me, there were 3 people the drunkest I'd ever seen sing this movie. They were falling down, going down the stairs to the restroom, and just screaming the whole movie. It actually made it better. But Cocaine Bear is
awesome.
Yeah.
It's not cinematically, it's not as good as I wanted it to be, but as a happening, as
it's
an
still
experience,
funny
it's
as
great.
fuck. It's just it's one of those movies I could watch. It's like one of those movies like what's a good version of that, or think of something like that, like Road Trip. I could watch that thing 104 times. Or Grandma's Boy. I can watch it 104 times in a row, and it's not like I care what it is.
It's not exactly cinema, but it is a fun time at the movie.
It's just I'm gonna love every moment of it. Yeah. Now.
I'm
going to get to number one.
Yeah, I'm going to go first because I know you guys have
you're going to go number one because I figure what you're going to say is way different than what the two of us are going to say.
My number one's Poor Places, or those were Poor Things. I love this movie. He
loves porn. He watches a lot.
There's a lot of fucking.
Oh my god! If you do all the porn he has on book covers, there's so much Neil. There's so many.
You're like, I like Poor Things. You're like, I like Poor Things, and you give this wonderful, just happy, just descriptive description of this movie. Chris likes it. Oh, this guy just likes porn. No. Fuck off. Go ahead, Chris. I got you, baby.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of fucking in this movie, but I loved everything about Poor Things. I walked in hoping I'd love it. I exceeded my expectations. Probably none of the best one I've seen this year on technical for me. Technical level.
Yeah. Emma Stone definitely deserved the Golden Globe that she got for this.
This is all. I mean, it's like.
And they got a Golden Globe too, didn't they? I can't remember what it was for, but it wasn't just. For best musical comedy.
That's so weird. It's not a musical or a comedy, but it's very, very funny.
Yeah, that's what the Golden Globes gave them an award
beautifully
for.
shot. I love everything about Poor Things. We've talked about it before, but if you guys watch one more movie for release years, please fucking see Poor Things. It is my favorite movie here. And Emma Stone, I liked her before, but now I might leave my way for her if I can. No, I'm not going to. But anyway.
Oh my God! Don't ever say that about that. You're a dick for saying that. You asshole. All right.
She doesn't even listen to this. Poor thing. So go ahead. I love it.
His wife doesn't listen to this.
No, she doesn't. She stopped listening a long time ago.
As we got 17 viewers, so I mean, none of them know your wife.
She's thinking about leaving me for our Starry on the fucking Baldur's Gate 3. Chill out. So Poor Things, great movie. Yeah, we both reviewed it earlier. Chris, before me and Mark give our final number one, I'm pretty sure I sent you a clip last night
Why don't you go ahead and play that clip? Because I'm pretty sure it's from the exact same movie. Me and Mark are about to agree is the #1 movie of the year.
I'm just Ken. Anywhere else I'd be a 10. Is it my destiny to live and die a life of blonde fragility?
I had to do that without blowing my side out.
So the #1 movie, I believe, in me and Mark's vision. Am I correct on investing? You know, everything you said this whole 2 hours is Barbie.
Dude, I love Barbie too. So
why? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, it's Barbie.
Chris didn't even put in his top 15.
No, it's my top 3, and honestly, it was.
You didn't put in your top 15,
dude. Honestly, no. Listen, 15. these top 3, I really should have said they're all #1 to me because I love Barbie just as much as you fuckers do. It's great.
Oh yeah, you do. You love it so much. Oh, where's it at in your top? Your top. Oh wait.
Fuck you, Neil. Fuck you.
Gaslighting him. Jesus Christ.
World made it top 3. That's a global number right there. Oh my God.
That has to be domestic because the Barbie was the #1 movie worldwide.
That's global.
Okay, well,
that's what I got yesterday. So anyway,
okay, it's not accurate, but go ahead.
I didn't make it, brother. I'm just fucking.
Anyway, let's talk about Barbie, dude. Let's talk about this fucking movie. It's so good, so fucking good.
Barbie. Go for it. You go for it, Mark.
Yeah, let me quick tell my story. Mm-hmm. So, before we knew what Greta Gerwig was doing with Barbie, if you'll remember, one of the development phases of this movie was like the fat Amy Schumer Barbie version. Like there were a couple of different iterations of Barbie. If you ever watch my podcast, Damn You Hollywood on W2M Network, my partner Robert Winfrey, he has very particular tastes. It's hard to get him to do anything with a feminist bent. It's hard to get him to do anything with an Afrocentric bent. He'll sometimes do them, but a lot of times I spare him because it's not worth the fight. So he bowed out of Barbie early because we all thought Barbie was just going to be a stupid, toyetic, garbage, silly movie. Nobody fucking saw this thing coming. So when I plotted it out on my review schedule, my good friend I hesitate to tell the story kind of the way I think about it because I don't want to hurt the guy's feelings. But when I decided we were going to do this, he's like, he volunteered. He's like, I'll go see Barbie. But he thought the same thing I did, that we're just going to review this dumb shit movie and then we'll move on with our lives. And I love Ronnie to death. But when I think about the issues of the day, when I think about film craft, when I think about deep thinking about the different themes a movie can present to you, Ronnie's not the guy I go to. That's Robert. So fast forward, we did a triple feature of Sisu, which almost made my list, by the way. It almost made my honorable mentions. Sisu, Barbie, and The Machine, which I joked about. I accidentally created the polyamory.
The Machine! Oh my God! I was in my honorable mentions.
So imagine like Sisu, and in the middle is Barbie, and on the other side is Bert Kreischer. Yeah. It's the polyamory flag. Anyway, we did a triple feature of that, but Ronnie dutifully went to see it. He comes on and the whole time is crying about how men are presented in that movie. And
but it's not men, it's a society. Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah. So he's crying. So we spent an hour discussing just the Ken element of Barbie because he was so mad about what Greta Gerwig did to men in it and how he felt about it and how frustrated it made him. So I spend an hour trying to explain to this guy how great Barbie is, why it works, on what levels it's working, about feminism and all this other stuff. And you got to understand, like, I make a lot of jokes, but you're not going to find like a bigger ally of, the feminists.
Yeah.
First or second wave feminists. After that, it's a little wonky than me. And when I tell you between being a mental health person, an empathizer, and a thinker, I laughed, I cried. This movie moved me in ways few movies do these days. I could not have loved Barbie more. And I talked about it with a guy who maybe got a fifth of it. And I was so frustrated. I have told this story to like, and to this day, I have people like running up to me like, "Hey, where was Robert on your Barbie review?"
Yeah, I can't,
you did it with the wrong guy.
I texted you and asked if he was a fun hater because he didn't see it. I saw the podcast, and I don't understand. Like, it bothers me that someone saw it and didn't like it because I.
No, he didn't see it.
You know what bothers me? Let me jump in here for a second. You know what bothers me? I do a movie review thing with a guy that I've done 300 episodes with.
Dude, will you calm down? 15, will you calm the fuck down?
15? You didn't even put Barbie in there?
It's in there, dude. It's number 3.
It was number 3 or some shit.
Yeah, it's 3.
I don't know. All right.
So to conclude, so you can actually talk about the movie. I've had people come up to me and be like, "Hey, listen, we've heard you talk about how your review of Barbie didn't go so well. Would you like to try again with someone else?" And I'm like, maybe. Barbie is the best movie of the year for a lot of different reasons for me. Set design. Best set design.
100%. Set design is off the chart.
Incredible.
The Malibu Barbie houses or the Dream Barbie houses that they do. Like, I grew up with sisters. I grew up with cousins. I was like the only male. Like, I had Castle Grayskull, and all of them had the Barbie dream houses. So, like, you have Castle Grayskull in the middle of these Barbie dream houses with He-Man playing with Barbie. So, yeah, when I saw them, I was like, damn, that's awesome.
When the stuff that the Barbie movie talks about for both genders, it's not, I don't think it's just a pro women, anti man movie.
No, I don't either.
I think the way the movie deals with gender norms and the frustrations, I've talked about this before. My daughter is claiming to be non-binary because she doesn't. I mean, she dresses as a girl, she acts as a girl, but she claims, as the kids do these days, to be non-binary. And the reason being is for her to be
not sexual,
pigeonholed into a specific gender limits the possibilities of her expression. And she does not want to be limited by her gender. She just wants to be who she is.
Right.
And when I think about her, I think about the Barbie movie, because what the Barbie movie is saying is, hey, as men, as women, we have gender roles, we have gender norms, and it's limiting and it's frustrating and it's causing tensions,
right?
And it's causing depression. And we're struggling as a society because things are changing rather rapidly and we're not keeping up with it. And it's causing a lot of strife in everyday society among people just trying to live their lives. Exactly. Barbie speaks to this, not always competently, but at least it opened up that conversation in a way I don't see other movies in the mainstream doing.
That's a great point about the conversation that it's now in every household. You've seen this, unless you're awful, because Barbie, it was for everyone. And
All right. Well, let me jump on his point before you just totally annihilate it with whatever you're going with on there. But like, I know where you're going. You're trying to end it. You're trying to.
I was not trying to end it. Fuck you, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. I know where
you're. Neil, fuck you. Go ahead.
You're both pretty. Go on, Neil.
Anyway, let me jump on his point for a second, though, too, is that in a society where by any means, should this be the number one thing that we talk about is sexuality, about somebody, what people perceive themselves? It should not be. In this society, we should probably be talking about, hey, how about we pay people more? Hey, how about people be able to eat food? Hey, how would it be easier to get healthcare? Stuff like that. No, but in the last 2 years, society has made it very much part of that our sexuality or who we want to be, male, female, whatever our sexual gender are, it needs to be a part of the forefront. And I feel like Barbie was the big fuck you to all those people who are like, hey, look, everybody's just going to be who they are. It's been the way we've all been for years, for decades. I mean, people arguing about drag queens is a thing, but guess what? There's been drag queens since the 1800s, and nobody gave a fuck. And so, like, literally for people to put something on the storm front and in a movie, in a cinematic way, to be like, hey, you know what? It's okay just to be who you are. and just stop this communication. You don't need to tell Mr. Banker that asks you, are you a guy or girl? So you go in the bathroom, whatever. You go into the bathroom that you go into and you go pee wherever the fuck you want to.
Let me interject something real quick. Because this came up during the review, and then Robert kind of brought it back up again in his own way. And it was the treatment of men in Barbie. One of the things I said to Ronnie at the time, and I have had to beat this horse to death, is that, we talk about like men's mental health is often neglected.
Right.
The way because of the way a lot of us as boys are raised or not raised, if you don't have men in your life, and you're just raised by women, a lot of stuff that is the male life experience is often neglected, not thought about. And if you express it, you're then seen as less than manly. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that Barbie talks about. It's why, like, when Ronnie's like, I don't think this treated men very well. It's like, no, it treated men awesome, because it pointed out that, yes, being a woman is hard, and that is a big part of what Barbie was. But also being a man is hard in the sense that there is an expectation of us that many of us can't live up to. And sometimes it's way out of reach. But if you don't meet that expectation, you as a person get nullified. Yep. You get told you don't matter. Yeah. If you're not doing this, and this, you are told as a man, you don't matter. You don't barely exist. No one should respect you. You don't get to participate in society anymore, essentially. And then what ends up happening is you're sitting there as a guy and you're like, okay, well, then I'll do all of those things. And life suddenly doesn't work out for you. And you're like, then what am I supposed to do? I did all the things you said I'm supposed to do as a man, and life still didn't work out. I was left. I was abandoned. I lost out on opportunities. And you're like, what else am I supposed to do as a human being? And nobody has any good answers for you. Try better, do more. And you're like, exactly. And then you wonder why so many guys have arrested development. Right. They don't try anymore. They live like bears. You wonder why guys are in droves attracted to online virtual life. Yeah. Because life as a guy sucks so bad right now, where if you do all the right things, you're still wrong. You do all the wrong things, you're horrible. You're the worst villain in history. To where a lot of guys are going, I don't want to participate in society anymore. I'm going to put on glasses and live in like fucking a video game. Right. I'm going to buy a robot sex doll because it's better than any human relationship I'm ever going to have. And Barbie talked about that.
Yeah, Barbie was like,
yes, it did.
It's for everyone. It's for fucking everyone. Yeah. It's something that I've told people that have just sort of laughed it off, and like, no, you need to see this movie because for everyone, it has to. It's there, and it's fun. It's a fun movie, even if it, cry like a puddle at the end of it. Barbie is it's a cultural phenomenon for a reason, and like I said, it's only a few times that he gets it right when it comes to how giant it is. It's amazing. It's
look. It's not perfect. There's some film craft.
No. If you want to go through film and if you want to do the whole nitpick and all that stuff like that, here.
Yes, there are elements of the film that are not great.
Let me take this back since Mark only ranted for 3.5 hours.
I'm sorry.
I know. I loved it, dude. Mark, I loved it.
I love Mark. I love having a conversation with Mark. Mark, we should literally just have conversations every day a week. Like anytime we want to talk about anything, like just let me know. I'll come right to this room. We'll have a great conversation about anything ever. I don't give a shit.
Thanks, Neil.
I don't care if it's pro wrestling, movies, whatever. And I'll hook you up with a millionaire. But anyway,
I'm going to shut up now because I feel like I'm being shamed. But
no, I loved it. I loved hearing you talk. By the way,
the millionaire keeps on messaging me. By the way, he's like, "Who's this
guy on your podcast?
You thought this is going to be an hour and a half? Why is this 2.5 hours at this point?" But anyway, to back Mark up and let's cut this off and finish it up. Barbie was one of the best movies, and to be honest, it wasn't just because of the rewatchability. I've already watched that fucker like 40 times. I don't know how many times I've watched it, but I've watched it plenty of times. It's on the background a lot. It's like my go-to. It's like my Twilight Zone, my Big Bang Theory. It's like literally, if I need just something playing in the background, it's one of those movies that do that. And to be honest, everything that it imagines and everything that it's a part of needs to be a part of the society that we live in, that we all need to understand that it's not just girls, it's not just guys, it's all of us as human beings that need to reflect on what makes us better as human beings and not to be greedy asshole cunts. And I mean, to say the most gruesome word in the history of English, I guess.
It's probably just the worst C word, yeah.
But seriously, I mean, it's the bottom line. So that is it.
Oh,
that has to be at this point. We're at 2 hours and 30 minutes. Chris is going to have fun editing
it's gonna
this
be
shit.
It's going to be the shit.
My whole rant's getting cut out, isn't it?
No, you keep all your shit in, because honestly, that rant was the best thing I've heard all podcast. So thank you.
It was a great rant, and I loved every minute of it. I'm not gonna love it. And to be honest, Mark, seriously, it's almost broken my heart that you have not had me on one of your podcasts this past year.
All right,
not
we'll
one.
get you on, Neil.
You have not one. We had a whole long speech last year together where I was like, dude, I will jump on anything you ask me to. And you're like, I'll get you, brother. You didn't call me once.
And we need to do this more than once a year, I think.
There's a whole 3 months that had a broken arm and a cast that all I'm doing is watching movies and watching wrestling and shit. You did not call me once. Anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna send you the Damn You Hollywood list, and you come on any podcast you want.
All right, cool.
And we'll have you back before a year, because I miss you, pal. I want you on.
Yeah, I miss you too.
Seriously.
Oh, I'm not as social as I used to be. I started dating a girl that's only available on Saturdays and Sundays, so I'm back to being available during
the week. We only record on like Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So fuck off on that.
Okay, guys. I loud and clear. Got it.
Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Guess what? That's when Neil goes socialized.
Yes. Yeah. Now me too.
Yeah. So, but we'll make sure we do this more than once a year, because I fucking love having you on.
After a great episode, Chris, why don't you tell everybody where we're available at?
You can find us online at moviesdon'tsuck.net. We're at facebook.com/moviesdon'suck podcast. We are somewhere at D2Mnet. That's D2Mnet.com.
Right on the main page. You can go right there and see all of us.
W2M is in moviesnet.com. You can find our podcast there, along with a bunch of other badass ones. We're also on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/moviesdon'tsuck. We're on Instagram at MTS Podcast. We're also on X, formerly known as Twitter. X at MTS Podcast. Maybe how long will be that? I don't know. We're also on Bonfire. Go to bonfire.com. Something you'll find our shirts along with a bunch of stuff Neil's made. We're trying to podcast. Fuck. You find Movies Don't Suck. It's Sunday.
Hey, all right, bro?
Yeah, I'm all right. Neil, what do you do for small businesses?
If you got a small business, let us know. We'd be more than happy to advertise you to our thousands of listeners or millions of followers right here on Movies That Don't Suck and Some That Don't Do. Believe me, we'll have a good time. Let's thank you again for our fucking great friend, Mark, everybody. Let's give a big round of applause.
Woo! Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Thank you very much.
Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about W2Mnet.com?
Sure. We have a landing page. It's w2mnet.com. We're on YouTube, LinkedIn. We have a Facebook page. My subset is the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. It too has a Facebook page and a X. I'm on TikTok. That is my main thing these days. I take 10-minute clips of my show and I post them on TikTok. I also post clips of my 10-year-old son doing stand-up comedy, my 13-year-old daughter singing and dancing. There's also me doing naked karaoke or clothed karaoke, whichever you prefer. Yes, sir.
All right.
I said what I said.
I'm gonna drink a lot tonight.
that's the typical reaction I get. So yes, all of my my podcast clips, stuff with my kids, and social outings are all on my TikTok at Mark Radulich. It's on the screen. If you're just listening on audio, it's at Mark M-A-R-K Radulich Radulich on TikTok. I'm also on the Instagram.
Instagram.
I'm on the Instagram. Mark Kind, MarkKind 76. You can find me on X at Mark Radulich. And if you deign to want to talk to me on Messenger or Facebook, it's Mark Radulich LCSW, which stands for, believe it or not, if you're hearing me rant like that, licensed clinical social worker. We have a Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page, like I said, and that's it. We Damn You Hollywood is the main weekly theatrical exhibition movie review podcast. We also do we look back at old movies. That one's called On Trial. My buddies and I, once a month or so, get together, talk metal, watch metal videos, and tell fun stories. That's the Metal Hammer of Doom Jukebox. We just put up an episode yesterday.
Metal.
Dude, yo, Suno.ai, we on air wrote a song about narcissistic women and played it, and it's on TikTok now. But last night's show, there was an entire segment where we wrote and composed.
Mark, you gotta invite me to this shit. You know, I used to write lyrics for like heavy metal.
Oh my God, you would have such a great time with this.
Yeah,
we literally composed.
You gotta see me? Come on, dude. Do I not look like a goddamn
and had AI write us like a Steel Panther-esque ballad about a narcissistic.
Did I tell you about the time I did Blow with Steel Panther?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, we'll
talk about that later. Anyway.
So that's the Metal Hammer of Doom Extra. And then the last thing I want to talk about is our triple features. Sometimes there's 3 old movies, sometimes it's 3 new ones, sometimes it's their director focus. We've done ones for David Lynch, Tim Burton, Wes Anderson. This past year, we'll be doing more. We have a show called Long Road to Ruin, where we look at movie franchises. This past year, we looked at John Waters' Trash Trilogy. We looked at Baz Luhrmann's Red Curtain Trilogy. We looked at the Men in Black. We just did Home Alone for the holidays.
Yeah.
So all the Radulich and Broadcasting stuff is part of W2M Network, along with the anime guys who do Talk to Keki, the video games to the max, my buddy Jesse Starcher, my brother from another mother and hetero life mate. He has a Source Material podcast where he talks comic books and unspoken issues, where they focus on 90s podcasts. I'm sorry, 90s comics. So check all those out, please. Yes, W2Mnet.com.
All right, cool.
All right, cool.
You ready to get out here? Yeah.
I don't even know what we're doing anymore. Oh, shit. I closed everything.
We're good, man. We're good.
So because Mark was talking so long, just give me a second.
I'm fine with it. What do you...
I can go back to talking if you want.
Why do you gotta yell at me?
I'm yelling at you all the time.
Just kidding. He's going to have to edit this part out.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Now ask me again.
Hey, you ready to get out of here?
Yeah, man. Let's get out of here. All right, so now here's just some of the best quotes of 2023. Let's see if you can follow with me. Confusion is the first step of the journey to knowledge. It's not so much that you believe, it's how hard you believe. Amateurs seek the sun and get eaten. Powers stay in the shadows. If you leave something behind, you gain something too. And these scars we have make us who we are. We're not meant to go back and fix them. And also, the best phrase of the entire year 2023, family. Guys, have a good night and have a great time.
Bye,
Make sure to check us out.